to you live from 2023 for the first time. It's the 10 Point Podcast, Season 6, Pointy Awards. And yes, we didn't think we would make it this far either, but we are still going. My name is Bruce. I am your host for this evening, and with me, two legends of the podcast game.
Oh, who else is coming in?
Hey. My first guest, despite his best efforts, and I don't know why, there will not be a Best Kiss award tonight. It's Chris.
Oh.
Was he always trying to do best kiss, was he?
I don't know why. I think probably in about 6 or 7 episodes, Chris is like, "Oh, I'm nominated for Best Kiss." And I'm like, it's not an award. MTV do it, yes, but no, we've always had Worst Kiss.
I've got a list. Oh, right, okay, that's what I was
Worst Kiss.
Worst Kiss, so I just assumed there was a Best Kiss.
Well, we don't necessarily want to celebrate that sort of thing, but we like to make fun of things that are like uncomfortable making. And secondly, I wonder if he will rate this podcast lower because lots of other award shows have done it better. It's Andy.
I don't think any other award shows have done this better. I mean, I would watch this award show. Like, I'm not going to sit and watch 5 hours of the Oscars and then for them to fuck it in the end anyway. We fuck it right from the get-go.
Absolutely. We start off bad and keep going, yeah.
I must admit, all my fans, this is going to be the last time I swear or curse on a podcast. I'll get used to it.
Of course. Season
7, New Year's resolution.
Yeah, Andy, good guy, clean language guy. Yes.
I'm going to take it his first word in the first podcast is going to be a swear word.
Well, his first review of the year in Season 6 was Pish 1, I think it was. But then every other episode, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3, Andy always says, other films have done it better, and then he went on to like every single film. So we need to find these better versions of all these films they've done, because it was.
Don't you worry, it could be a theme.
Okay. We are the 10 Point Podcast. If you've clicked on the Pointy Awards and you've not listened to anything else beforehand, I would advise maybe listen to at least a podcast or 2 that we've done before this. This is generally us rounding up the previous season. But we are the 10 Point Podcast. You can find us at 10pointpodcast.com. Go on social media, Twitter, Facebook. We're 10 Point Podcast over there too. YouTube is where you can find video versions, the 10 Point Broadcast. So that is where you can find. I think we started with the Pointy Awards Season 2 was our first video version.
I think so. And now I'm freezing my nuts off in the new podcast studio in -4 weathers.
Andy's in the studio. I'm in the Hall of Fame here. So
I'm actually closing my living room.
Oh no. He broke it
already. He's gone already.
Oh, he's broken.
Have I already gone, have I?
He's back.
Oh my god. I didn't do anything. I didn't touch anything. I just kept
told you, this is better than the Oscars.
Yes. And I'm the one who was most confident my internet wasn't going to go out, and it's already gone. Yes, 10 Point Podcast. Stick that in Google. You'll find something we've done, namely moaning about films.
No.
So this is the season. Films. This is the Season 6 Pointy Awards. And as always, these guys, they need a reminder. They've forgotten every film we did last season. No. Mainly because
it was brain all day about what films I've actually watched.
It was the longest season time-wise we've ever done, because we started it about 18 months ago and finally got finished at Christmas there. So I've done our usual moral of the story quiz. I have taken the list that Chris believes you're supposed to have learned from a film, and I will pose that to Andy, and he's to tell me what film it is, and whatever moral story Andy thought, I'm going to pose that to Chris, and we'll find out if they...
I don't even remember all the films we did.
Yeah, never mind the list. I think this is the hardest set of morals in relation to what films they are. So again, I've tried to
remember there being too many bitches be crazy though.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? I've tried to. It is each film. There are 20 questions. You get 10 each, and it is all 20 films. All are covered. Oh. So, and we'll go backwards and forwards. And I've tried to make
one film that I'm just going to keep saying over and over again.
Yeah. They should get easier. So it should get harder as they go along, because you have obviously less films to pick from. So you should obviously know what ones are left. So, Chris, we start by asking you, what film was the moral of the story? Don't go to other planets. They're bad.
Total Recall, was that this season?
That was absolutely not this season.
After a good start.
Avatar was the answer to that one. There.
That's true. They are bad. I remember saying that.
Second last film we did of the season. So Andy, see if you can guess which film this was the moral of the story. Don't go ass to mouth.
Clerks 2.
Clerks 2 is the correct answer. So Andy has the 1-0 lead.
I thought that was last season as well.
Chris, never pay for late pizza.
I know this one.
No
What?
bonus points.
All I can think of is old school, but it's not.
Okay,
I'll say old school.
it's not. Andy, do you remember what it was? You don't get a point.
Turtles.
It was Teenage Mutant
Oh my
Ninja
God,
Turtles.
yes.
Andy, your question. Don't fuck with people who handle your food.
Waiting.
Waiting is correct, yes. At this point, I think things get very hard for Chris, but not so hard for Andy as we go on. But we'll have to see how it goes from there. Chris, your next one. It's acceptable to have dessert before your dinner. That was the moral of a story a film we watched this season.
I know this. I'm
Fuck,
good at this one.
I can't think of films that we've done. Fuck, I don't know. Pass. I've got no films in my head.
Do you remember, Andy?
Krampus.
It was Krampus, yeah. I can't even remember the context, to be honest.
It was the old granny. The kid walks in and gives him a cookie before their dinner.
Okay, Andy, can you remember what Chris said? The moral of the story was, never touch a man's balls without asking.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm not my own.
Yeah.
Police Academy?
It was Police Academy. I believe that
Yes.
might have been your moral of the story as well, Andy, for that one.
Yeah, Thingy says it, doesn't he?
Captain
Harris,
Harris.
Harris, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is now 3-1 to Andy at the moment. Chris, the moral of the story for a film was don't be helpful, apparently.
Trying to think of films we've done. Slither? Was that this season?
It was, but that is not the correct answer.
Nope.
Do you remember, Andy?
Batman?
No, it was Dumb and Dumber was Don't Be Helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously Lloyd went all the way across the country or whatever.
I was just thinking Batman helping Gotham.
Good point. Andy, the moral of the story for a film was there's always time for lubricant.
Evolution.
It was Evolution. Chris
makes it easy because they're pretty much just lines in the film.
I tried to pick out the kind of the weirdest ones or the funniest ones. So Chris making it taking lines from the film wasn't helping him. So hopefully it does get harder for you.
Well, that's the whole point. There's a moral within the film.
Exactly. Yes.
All mine's are morals.
Andy's randomness doesn't help you in this situation, Chris. Don't worry, there's nothing at stake here, Chris. Chris, don't
Fine.
poke weird shit.
What? Prey?
It was not. It was Slither. It was don't poke weird shit.
Yeah,
That's
was
what
it?
not. That's what Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
And Andy, always follow the instructions. A bit harder.
Minority Report?
It was not. It was Gremlins.
Oh, fucking hell, so it was.
Of course it was. Chris, this might be the single most random. I give you no chance of getting this, okay? But prove me wrong. $3.99, all you can eat buffets. What a way to live. That was the moral of a story we did this season.
$3.99.
Oh, so this is off to a great start.
I can't even think of a film. Beautiful creatures.
It was not. No. Do you have any idea, Andy?
I have no idea, but it sounds like a good film.
City Slickers 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because they ended up in Vegas at one point.
Yeah.
So I think he was.
Amazing.
Andy, what film was the moral? Don't let your spare room out.
Oh, Suburban Commando.
It was Suburban Commando. I thought that one was quite random, but you were right there with it. Chris, don't get old.
City Slickers? I don't know.
Nope, we've already had that. It was
Sorry,
old school.
fuck, I so did.
Old school,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Which
This is good.
Andy's moral of the story was don't get old, and your moral story was like you never get old or something. You had the exact opposite morals that you learned from the film Old School. Where are we now? Andy, I won't do the voice. Bit of a clue there. It's not who we are underneath, but what we do that defines us. Was the moral.
Batman.
It was
Batman
Batman.
Begins.
There we go. So Andy's got an unsurmountable lead now. I think, Chris.
Oh,
So
I'm
Chris,
surprised.
if you're going hunting, if you're going hunting, wear some high vis vests. That was the moral of the story in a film we did this year.
Boy, who goes hunting? And like what films have we done? This is like a completely different season from what I've actually done. No idea.
That's 100% Prey.
It was Prey. It was Prey. I think you had it anyway, and then you put two together, and she put like some high, like I don't know if it was the Predator blood or whatever, but something shiny on her. Andy, women, you can't live with them, you can't live without them. What was that? The moral of the
She's
story?
crazy.
Basically, yeah.
Minority Report.
It was not. You're dying for Minority Report to come up, which it has not yet. Chris.
What was it?
Oh, sorry. The Shining.
All right.
Which I'm not sure that was.
That one. I didn't even think it was a film.
I don't even think it was a season, The Shining.
No.
It was Halloween. It was like 2 months ago. That's another random one. Check your washing load, Chris. What was that? The moral of the story?
What the fuck? That came out of my mouth.
You said check your washing loads. Yes.
What the
I think even with the films I did in front of me, I would never get this one. I don't think it's come up yet. Beautiful Creatures. I'm going to keep rattling that one.
Okay, good luck. No, it was Catch Me If You Can. Was check your washing load. Because I think in some random scene in a laundry, someone put like a red sock in with his whites, and Andy made, that was the moral of the story.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened anyway. Andy, if you dig up the past, all you get is muddy. What is that the moral of the story in? Which is very poignant from Chris. Chris looks like he doesn't remember either.
John Malkovich? That's got mud in it.
It was not John Malkovich. Do you remember, Chris?
Good shout.
Yeah.
Dig up the past. No hands.
That one was Minority Report. Whoever was waiting for that to show up.
Oh, for his sake.
Because he ended up investigating like an old murder, didn't he? Right, one to go each. Andy's won comfortably. Chris, don't creep on people.
Fucking hell. Could be any of the films. Well, I haven't done it yet. Beautiful Creatures.
It was not Beautiful Creatures. That one was being John Malkovich.
Aye.
And finally, Andy.
Oh, fucking hell.
The only time all season that it came up, and both of you said it as the moral of the story, bitches be crazy. What film was that?
Beautiful Creatures.
It was Beautiful Creatures.
Yes.
So Andy got 7 out of 10, and Chris got 1 out of 10.
What a start. Let's just end the pointies here. I'm on a high.
So there you go. There's a refresher. Those are the 20 films we did last season. All
What
of
a
which
random fucking season.
Hell, it is.
Not one of those films jogged my memory, apart from Police Academy.
Police Academy. Ah, yeah. Okay, on to our first award of the evening. And we'll run through this in the typical fashion, which again we've not discussed beforehand, but I'm assuming we'll still go the traditional bronze, silver, gold, awarding medals each, and then we will tot up, and hopefully there's a clear winner. Andy, I forgot to mention to you, maybe we have some sort of backup in case there's a tie, because some of the awards have a lot of nominees, and we may end up spreading the whole vote here. So I've
got the number generator ready. Right.
Good, right? We'll come to that if need be.
It's the official Google number generator. If anybody wants to thingy,
check it, check up on it. Right. So the first award of the evening, obviously, best entrance would be the first award of the evening. 2 previous winners, Pointy Award winners of best entrance, He-Man and Jane Silent Bob were both previous winners of best entrance. Nominees for this season. From City Slickers, Duke kicking ass in his first appearance in the film, City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold. Not the Curse of Curly's Gold, as we called it probably 50% of the time on the podcast last week, trying to work out what the hell Chris was doing as a theme. We kept saying the Curse of his Gold. It was The Legend. So Duke, his first appearance. Here's Johnny in The Shining. The police needlessly bursting in through windows in Minority Report upon basically having apprehended the bad guy. Ridley, played by Emmy Rossum in Beautiful Creatures. We were quite taken by her entrance into the film. And finally, Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is our last.
Was Ridley because she was wearing like hot pants and shit like that?
It wasn't hot pants. She had like a I don't know, a sort of lacy see-through kind of dress thing on.
Right, okay.
And she drove up in a very fancy sports car, walked straight over and kissed the guy who was like her love interest throughout the rest of the film, basically.
That was a shit film, wasn't
it? well, we will find out how shit it was. That was also the longest ago I've ever felt I've watched a film of Beautiful Creatures. It's going to do poorly tonight because I can't remember anything that happened in Beautiful Creatures. So they are our 5 nominees. Normally we go alphabetically and we try and keep that pattern. So Andy, why don't you give us your bronze, silver, and gold first?
That's pretty easy. I'm going to go for Shredder, because he's pretty badass, and it was the only time that film actually piqued an interest. I'm not going to go for the sexy thing, but I'm going to go for the police in Minority Report, because they were needless, but great entrances. And it's an all-time classic. Gold gets Here's Johnny from The Shining.
So I am second. And I'm going to go Duke as my bronze, because I couldn't really remember how he came into the film. I remembered that Jack Palance was in it again.
He jumped off a cliff, didn't he?
Yeah, he jumped off and then beat up the bad guys right at the perfect moment to save Billy.
I just remember him always being out of breath.
Yeah, well, it was like 85 or something.
Say,
yeah, an old
100.
My silver is going to be Emmy Rossum in Beautiful Creatures.
You went for the cheeky.
I went that way because she was the saving grace in that film in many aspects, and she was the most charismatic person and character in the film as well. Like whenever she was doing anything, it was more interesting than the rest of them. But yes, I have to agree with Andy. Here's Johnny. Him breaking down the door with the axe as well was one of my favourite scenes.
The official snack of the Pointies.
Oh, right. Him poking his face to the door is definitely overplayed, but it's a classic. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, so my bronze is the police just bursting through the windows. Everything had been sorted, but here they come just to destroy everything.
Wreck the house.
My silver, I'm going to go with... I'll go Ridley. Mm-hmm. I thought I was going to go flip it and make her gold, but I'll stick with the consensus of Here's Johnny, since it's an absolute classic.
That's definitely the winner then. First award of the evening goes to The Shining. I guess we can give it to Jack Nicholson if he ever wants it, for the best entrance in a film. Duckman has joined us. On to our second award of the evening. This one is very hotly contested. Chris says he's been dwelling on this for quite a while, what's going to win this one, and I haven't even thought about it, which is trouble for me because I'm going to go first. Best song of the season. Now you can decide this however you want. If you want,
I completely forgot about half these songs.
Yeah, yep. Contextually within the film, if it fits, you like it better, you can go with that. If you just like the song, you can vote that way too. It's all about just best song.
I struggle with a lot of songs with what film they were in.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
So from Slither, "Baby I Love You" by the Yahoos.
I've actually got that.
From Minority Report, "Bad Boys." Bad boys, what you gonna do?
That's what's from.
Yeah. From Dumb and Dumber, Apache Indian, "Boom Shakalak," which is, I always thought it was Shakalaka, but it's Boom Shakalak is the name of the song. From Dumb and Dumber.
I've got to get Boom Shakalaka.
We had a big debate about the best song was in Dumb and Dumber, and Boom Shakalak was decided. From Evolution, "Drop the Bombshell" by Powerman 5000.
Good banger.
From Clerks 2, "Goodbye Horses" by Hugh Lazarus. The Gremlins main theme, obviously from Gremlins. "It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas" by Bing Crosby from Krampus. "PH Fat Rap" by Nick and T-Dog from Waiting. I think the only original song, all the rest is either like a soundtrack or an actual song that was actually recorded by people who were in the film. The Police Academy theme from Police Academy 4 Citizens on Patrol. Not that Citizens on Patrol song, but the Police Academy theme. From Beautiful Creatures, if you can remember all the way back, Bob Dylan's "Subterranean Homesick Blues," which was in the car in one
That's
scene.
what it's from.
When Ethan was driving. "Tequila" by the Champs from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were dancing to that down in the sewers. "Total Eclipse of the Heart" by the Dan Band. That's actually the original song from Old School. And then the Kinks, "You Really Got Me" is in "Catch Me If You Can." So
I think the number generator is going to come into play here, because
I think so, because there's 13 songs to pick from here, and I need to go first. So I am already really struggling. So I think that's going to get it, and that's going to get it. So I know what 2 right. I think I've got my 3 because I just can't stop singing it upon hearing it. Because when I was putting together the playlist for these guys today, the one song of 13 that I found myself singing for ages afterwards was the Gremlins theme. I just can't stop singing. So that's my bronze, because it's not that good, but it's an absolute earworm. So that's bronze. Silver, for me, I'm going to go Tequila by the Champs.
Banger.
Because it's a banger.
I should have drunk some tequila. Got some rock tequila in the bar. God.
That's literally an all-time classic because it's been around forever, that song. But my gold, I think the Bad Boys Cops theme song from Minority Report is... It never fails to crack a smile when I hear that song. And that's what I'm looking for from music. So that's my bronze, silver, and gold. Chris, how about you?
Well, this is going to be great. Nub Jabber's definitely going to be needed because I've got none of them.
Right, okay.
So my bronze, I was struggling between two of them, but I went for Drop the Bombshell.
Right.
My silver, mostly because of what was happening as it was playing, is the Q Lazarus song.
Yeah. That was what was it? Jay was doing his Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
And my gold, because like you, it's like an earworm, but it's the Police Academy theme. I mean, it's not even when it gets to the proper song, it's just a do 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 do.
Yeah.
And it's now my ringtone. So.
All right.
He loves it so much.
Very good. Well, Andy, let's see if you can break some ties.
Right, I'm going to do an honorary mention because it was close, but it was the Gremlins theme tune.
Yeah.
But it's just one of them, like when you hear it, but I'm not like you, I'll just forget about it. But when I hear it, it's like, that is a banger.
Yeah.
But not as much as a banger is Bronze Police Academy.
Police Academy.
That gets in there because it is just a banger.
So already that's winning, so we're good.
Silver, Bad Boys.
That
song is an ultimate banger.
Yes.
However, this song, you could do anything to it. You could make sweet love to it.
Right.
You could go on a nice romantic date on it. You could go to your auntie's funeral with it. You can go on a killing spree with it. And it's Power Man.
Yes.
It's an ultimate song. It is. Just that comes on. You could do anything. You feel invincible.
It also reminds me of the Dudley Boys.
It's
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a banger of a song, literally.
Not sure how it would go down at someone's funeral, but fair enough.
I tell you what, if that comes on, fucking hell. I'm always like, fucking hell.
If you put the coffin into the grave, I guess you could drop the bombshell.
Well, it's like Chris wanted Deeper Underground by Jamiroquai.
Of course, yeah.
That's still on my list. My honorary one was Boom Shakalaka.
Yeah,
Boom Shakalaka was there as well because I do love Apache Indian.
Maybe overlooked. However, with a gold medal and a silver medal, we do have a winner, and that is Bad Boys by Inner Circle from Minority Report. Has won the second
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if Cops can use it for 30 years on the TV show, it deserves to win, even though it wasn't even part of that.
It's
Minority Report.
You immediately know what it's referencing when you hear that. It's always funny that it's a song about like bad boys. The song's called Bad Boys, but you immediately think of police.
Yep. It's the police.
I watched all 3 Bad Boys films, and obviously it was Ed, so it's kind of stuck in my head. But
yeah, of course.
I don't associate with that film.
On to the next award of the evening. I have tried to keep these as separated as possible in the Pointies because we had many debates throughout the season about who fits in what acting categories. So
was that mostly Chris not knowing what best supporting was?
Chris not knowing what a cameo was the big problem.
No, just because you don't know somebody does not mean it's not a cameo.
Okay, right. Best supporting actor, best supporting, not actor or actress. Doesn't have to be male or female. Previous winners, however, have been Dave Bautista, Robert Downey Jr., Steve Martin, Gary Sinise, and Harrison Ford. They are all men, and every nominee is also a man. But it doesn't have to be actor.
We are sexist motherfuckers.
I mean, the women have been seriously overlooked throughout the season in terms of the acting awards this year.
This happened last time, and then like we all went like an all-women season.
We tried to balance out a wee bit. I mean, our Hall of Fame is inclusive. We have Carrie Fisher in the Hall of Fame, so it's not that we necessarily.
Yeah, but the handsome man to your right is there.
That's a bit. Scriff. He's only been in like 2 films.
I know. They're not. Well, we'll get onto the Hall of Fame. We can discuss it later. Best supporting actor is where we are. It just happens to be actor. A bunch of nominees here because this is one of our hotly contested awards. We always nominate people in this section. Colin Farrell in Minority Report, the role of Danny. G.W. Bailey as Captain Harris in Police Academy 4. Jack Palance as Duke and also Curly briefly in City Slickers 2. Jason Mewes as Jay in Clerks 2. Jeremy Piven as was it Dean? I forgot. Pritchard.
Aye, Pritchard.
Jeez, in Old School. Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox in Batman Begins. Orlando Jones as Dr. Harry Block, I think it was, in Evolution. basically the cast of Waiting that we mentioned. Ryan Reynolds, Justin Long, Chi McBride, Rob Benedict, all in a giant discussion about if anyone deserves to be Best Actor or who deserved to be. And we all decided, okay, they're all supporting actors basically. So
who's the main actor then?
Exactly,
I'd say
nobody.
Ryan Reynolds is the main one.
But he's not in it enough to be the main actor in it. Like it's definitely an ensemble.
Just listen to the podcast.
The whole film about Krampus is based on Krampus. He's only in it for 3 minutes, though.
Yeah, but it's not about him, is it? It's about the family. So
it's about him. The film's called Krampus.
Never. Anyway, Scatman Crothers as Halloran in The Shining. That was a debated one. Chris wanted somebody else. Stephen Lang as Quaritch in Avatar, and Tom Hanks as Hanratty in Catch Me If You Can. A whole bunch of nominees to pick from here. So, Chris, you're leading off.
I've got my silver. I'm going to... Okay.
Number 3.
Right, bronze. I am going to go for Tom Hanks and Catch Me If You Can.
Tom Hanks. Hanratty.
My silver... I've lost it. Oh, shit, what have I gone? Oh, okay, yeah. Stephen Lang from Avatar. He's my silver.
Okay.
And my gold is G.W. Bailey from Police Academy.
Right, okay. Captain Harris. Good old Captain Harris. I think he was the only actor we said was like worth getting the time of day in that film. Everybody else we slagged. Andy, how about you?
Right. I'm going to do an honorary mention because if the second film hadn't come out, Stephen Lang would have been bronze.
Right.
But Avatar 2 came out. I'm just nope. Okay. So bronze. I'm going to go with Chris, Tom Hanks, and Catch Me If You Can.
Ah, okay.
Silver. 50-50. I'm going to go for Jason Mewes in Clerks. And I am going to go for J.W. Bailey for Police Academy as Gold.
My God, right. Okay.
Because he is good at what he does. He supports the film, and that's what a supporting actor should do.
Exactly.
He carried that film.
He definitely has. Like, the most interesting things were always when he was on screen. It's irrelevant what I do now. He's already tied it up. I may have included him, but it means I can throw my points around a wee bit here. So I'm definitely giving Jason Mewes bronze because my opinion on him in that film was it was the perfect amount of Jason Mewes in Clerks 2. And it was exactly what we needed, and that's why I thought he was best supporting. So he's getting a bronze. I have to give Jeremy Piven my silver because I think that's my favourite Jeremy Piven. Obviously, everyone likes Ari.
I love Jeremy Piven in other movies, but I don't like him in this movie.
Oh, okay. So
I love him in the goods, but he's main character in that one.
Right. Okay. I really like him as Pritchard. He's really sleazy in that. But I'll throw Stephen Lang my gold because I thought he was the best thing in the.
Like I said, he was great in the first, but the second one really ruined it for me.
But G.W. Bailey, through being in Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, actually wins a Best Something award for that film. I don't know how that's happened. But there you go, G.W. Bailey. Comfortably the best thing in probably all of Police Academy is G.W. Bailey. Next award then. It's one I've been threatening for a while, but it really came good this season. Best Animal. So many nominees this season for Best Animal. Good luck remembering the differences with all these nominees. I know. Barney the dog in Gremlins, most memorable to me for jumping out over the bank counter and attacking the horrible.
All right. Yep.
Elijah the chimp in Being John Malkovich. He was quite important with flashbacks through his POV and all this sort of stuff as well. Kinky Kelly from Clerks 2, from The Donkey Show. Norman from City Slickers 2, the cow from the first film.
Right.
Rosie the dog in Krampus. The dog from Krampus. I don't remember her so much, but she was nominated. The last film we did.
Oh, yes.
It's like a little.
I was the one that went into the event and got the chewy, the pop-up Jack in the Box.
It's also the one where I forgot there was like a dog and there was random barking and I was like,
yeah,
what's happening?
Yeah. Sari the dog in Prey, basically best supporting actor in that film was Sari the dog. And then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the last nominee. I can't remember if it's me go first or Andy now.
Me, Andy.
Right. Bronze. I'm going to go for Norm, the cow from City Slickers.
Right, yeah.
Silver, I'm going to go for Turtles because Turtles are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And gold is going to be Sari the dog from Prey because that was a good boy. Very
good boy or girl, I'm not sure. Good doggy. I'm thinking a very similar line. I'll give Kinky Kelly a bronze for a laugh. Stick Kinky Kelly in. I would have given Norman more, but his big film was the first City Slicker.
He was the first one, but he got a cameo.
He did get a cameo. He did get a cameo in the second one.
Hey, that's how a cameo works.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to eliminate. Personally, I'm eliminating the turtles because the only thing aren't actual animals in this. Everything else is an actual animal.
The turtle's a fucking animal.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a guy in a suit. Where all these other ones are actually animals, like an actual monkey, an actual dog, an actual horse, and all that. So. Yeah, so Elijah the chimp is going to get my silver because he was quite important. But yeah, I'm going with Andy and Sari the dog. The dog was amazing in Prey. I think my background on the podcast was the dog, so that's my gold to the dog. Chris.
Okay, so my bronze is going to be Elijah the chimp. My silver is going to be Barney the dog from Gremlins.
Sure.
I have to agree with you. Gold, Sarah the dog from Prey.
There we go, and that's the winner with 3 gold medals.
The best of boys.
Good doggy. Yeah, very good. Very good dog acting. Do we know if there's going to be another Prey, like a follow-up?
There's rumours and shit like that about it.
Hopefully Sari is back in that one there.
Heather is playing the main one. She'd be happy to come back for another one if they're doing one.
She's done fuck all since then. She needs a paycheck.
Amber Thunder, that's her name.
That's all, yeah.
The great names. There was Dakota Beavers was her brother. She's Amber Thunder. Great names. Okay, next award. I think it's our first down award, our first worst award of the evening.
Ooh.
Worst father figure. Now this goes back a while. This award with us.
I'm not nominated.
Chris has avoided nomination again this year, being a successful father. So Cooper from Interstellar, that was Matthew McConaughey, was the first winner of this. Then Matilda's dad from Leon, and then Wayne, i.e. The main guy, what's his name again? From Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Rick Moranis in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids due to his dangerous scientific behaviour. So the nominees for worst father figure: Billy's dad in Gremlins, generally for
I'm a dangerous animal.
Yeah, but also was it like treating a 19-year-old boy like he was a kid, but also like a grown man, and then taking off all the time and not being around? So him, Howie and Krampus. That's David Koechner. We argued, I think me and Andy argued that he was a worse father because of the way he was bringing up his children, rather than because Chris wanted Adam Scott because he let his daughter go out dangerously into the blizzard.
Fucking blizzard by herself.
Yeah. But we think David Koechner was a worse father in that film. Jack Torrance in The Shining, obviously. John Anderton, that's Tom Cruise in Minority Report. He went into a public swimming pool and let his son be kidnapped. That was why he was a bad father. Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, generally because he had a giant child army in that film. And then finally, Tackleberry's father-in-law. Not because of how he was a bad father figure to Tackleberry, but because at a kind of family dinner, he was like beating up his son just in front of everybody and having a bit of a wrestling match. So they are our 6 nominees for worst father figure.
That's a toughie.
Yeah, it's a toughie. And it's me to go first. I'm going bronze with Billy's dad from Gremlins because I feel very strongly that he didn't really know much about his son at all. I don't think, and if he'd spent more time around him, we would know a bit more about him. It's hard because John Anderton, he was at fault for losing his son, but he did try very hard to get him back. But I'm going to have to give him a silver. I think Tom Cruise in Minority Report. But I mean, I think Jack Torrance is the only person who had to kill his son out of these, so he has to win the gold as far as I'm concerned. So Jack Nicholson in The Shining, worst father figure of the year or whatever. Chris,
there's just 4 seconds of madness.
So my bronze is John Anderton. I'm going to say my silver is.
I think I say myself. I thought you were going to pop yourself in as a nominee.
My silver, I'll go for Howie, David Koechner.
Right.
Because his kids were cunts.
Yeah.
And gold has got to be Jack Torrance. Has to be.
Good luck. And Andy, what about you?
Pretty similar. I'm going to go for bronze. I'm going for Jack Anderson.
John Anderton?
Yeah, too.
Right.
Jack Anderton.
I'm going to go for silver, Billy's dad, because it was dangerous. And yeah, Jack Torrance. He killed his kid.
It went
very bad.
Yes, exactly. At least he did end up dead in the end. I don't think the rest of them did. I think the rest of them all survived. Shredder, we're not sure about, but
I'm not sure about David Koechner.
Because we're like going back thinking about Shredder is he's not a work. He's doing the best he can. He's getting the kids off the street and he's trying to, he's helping the youth.
I don't know if it came in as worst plans, so I'll have a look and see if I had it because we did have a complaint about what Shredder was up to, which actually didn't get nominated for worst plan. Yeah, so Shredder's basically his plan seemed to be, I'll have a child army and they can go around pickpocketing people around the city. That means that I can keep them going to this arcade that I have down here, and then that seems to be his sole purpose. So it's just supplying this arcade for his children that he had.
Imagine Shredder just going through all the little money things, going, yeah, a couple of quid, yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of a self-fulfilling kind of plan there. If he didn't have the kid army, he wouldn't have to need to have the arcade open. But anyway, on to the next award of the night. An award out of nowhere that was very hotly contested this year. Best costume. We were very impressed with the costuming in the films this season. Former winners: Super Pirate Sloth, otherwise known as Schla from the Goonies.
That's the greatest wrong name you've ever had.
M. Bison and his entire wardrobe in Street Fighter, and then Darth Vader was the last winner of this Pointy, as being an all-timer of a costume. Nominees, costume-wise, this year: the blue and orange suits from Dumb and Dumber classics, Danny Torrance's wardrobe in The Shining with his lovely sweaters and his dungarees and his trainers and all that. Grant, the blob in Slither, when Michael Rooker.
I thought that was a mistake. I forgot he was called Grant.
His surname is Grant, and we do love a double name on this podcast when people have the same name twice. So Grant when he's a blob. The Krampus, except from his face in the film Krampus, because we have debates about that. Ridley and the aforementioned costume and beautiful creatures. However, she had a whole wardrobe of fancy outfits as well. Shep Ramsey popping up for the first time. Suburban Commando, Hulk Hogan's outfit in that. And then once again, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're both an animal and a costume, which is a bit of a, I don't know, conflicted ideal here. They are the nominees for best costume. I think it's Chris to go first.
I love how deep in thought Chris gets. I think he needs another beer.
This is my third one already. Okay, my bronze, I'm going to go for Ridley because it is memorable, her costume.
Yeah.
My silver...
Bunch of sex pests here.
I'm going to go for the Krampus because I thought it was quite a good costume.
You were most adamant that it was a good costume, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Except from the face. He always said the face.
Because he was just stuck like that.
If Chris put a bag over that face, he would fuck the shit out of it.
Oh my God's sake.
He's getting out of his system before he can't say anything bad. My gold is the blue and orange suits from Dumb and Dumber.
Oh.
Because I would happily wear one of those suits.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's an idea, Chris.
I thought you might
guess. If I give you my suit and you spray paint it orange or blue, I will be furious.
I'll buy you one. It's fine. We're doing it in August.
Yeah, Andy, shoot, go next.
I'm too busy thinking about what we're doing. Right. I'm going to go for purely costumes. I'm going to go for bronze, the blue and orange suits from Dumb and Dumber because they're kind of iconic.
They are iconic.
Yeah. I'm then going to go for the Blob, Grant, as a silver. But they are amazing costumes. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right, okay.
They're flawless.
They
look like turtles.
They do look like turtles. They look like the cartoon version of the turtles as well. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this at all. I'll be like Chris and not be too pervy and go Ridley is my bronze. So I'm going costuming here. I'm going clothes. So anyone who's like a monster is.
Yeah, that's totally what I was doing.
No, I thought Shep Ramsey was a bad costume, so I don't know how it slipped into best costume. I think you outvoted.
It was great.
So I'm like you guys. I'm giving it nothing as well. So just the saying. So I think I'll go Danny Torrance with my silver, and I'll go Dumb and Dumber with my gold as well. Just because it's like the dog car and the suits are what you remember from Dumb and Dumber, and that wins it for Dumb and Dumber. The suits are the.
I'm gonna get them suits. Chris is on.
Who's Harry and who's Lloyd? I don't remember which colours they were. But...
I'll go blue.
I was going to say I'll have to go orange. So
I'm blue. Blue might blending a bit better.
Yeah, it looks a bit more like it meant to be. Okay, on to the next award of the evening, Best Death. I must say at this point, we are far more positive in our approach to films. There's so many more Best Awards.
You wait until next season.
We'll find out. You have threatened us quite regularly with bad. So yeah, at the moment where we are in the podcast, we like appreciating things. The slagging off is kind of going a bit sideways. So Best Death, this is a mainstay. Death by unicorn. Death by murder during sexual intercourse. Death by chestburster. That was in Cabin in the Woods when they ended up under everything like that. Death by chestburster. Death by skin being ripped off, and death by T-Rex while sitting on a toilet. Our previous.
Classic. That's the way I want to go. I think out of all them deaths, T-Rex on the toilet.
Right.
That's how I want to go.
Right, okay. Maybe the unicorn. I think that would be quite fun. Anyway, nominees this time. I'll try and give explainers where needed. Colin Farrell in Minority Report. If you don't remember it, it was like a jump scare murder out of nowhere. Like he was just in a room and all of a sudden he was just shot dead out of nowhere by, I think it was it by Max von Sydow, I think. Anyway, instantly shot dead. Both Dean Pritchard and Mark being wiped out in a car crash at the end, when the end credits of Old School.
I felt bad for Dean Pritchard. He didn't deserve it.
He did. Dick Halloran. Murder via axe to the chest after travelling basically cross country to come and save the day and immediately being killed. A fella getting split in half the long way in Slither. The monster just goes, "Watcha!" All of a sudden he was like folding open like that. Howie Jr. following the dangling bell in Krampus and then getting sucked up the chimney by I'm assuming, the Krampus to be killed in Krampus. Joe, Mentalino in Dumb and Dumber. Now, I remember the death happening, but I couldn't remember the exact specifics of it. I feel like Chris might be best to tell me. How did Joe get killed in the kind of burgers?
Oh, he was... he has like an ulcer or something like that. He's on the hot peppers.
Right, okay. And then they gave him...
Oh, the rat poison, that was it.
And then they gave him rat poison.
It was rat poison, there we go. So that's how Mental killed. Macon Ravenwood, i.e. Jeremy Irons from Beautiful Creatures. Do either of you have any idea how Jeremy Irons died in that film?
Nope.
At the end of the film...
And he was in a clone or something like that. It was like...
Well, you're almost there. At the end of the film, for some reason, I can't remember, Alden Ehrenreich, our main guy in the film, was going to be killed for some great purpose. And Jeremy Irons, being some sort of wizard or some shite, disguised himself through magic as Alden Ehrenreich and sacrificed himself instead. And he died at the end of the film so that they could live and carry on, sort of thing. So he died to save the day at the end of the film. That'll come up later on, that massive twist that you've had to be explained to you. Next nominee, from Gremlins, Mrs. Deagle. Do you remember how she went?
I should have fly through a window.
I said.
Like a wee chair.
On a stair lift, yes, exactly. And then Quaritch in Avatar basically was all roboted up and got shot and killed with an arrow and all that sort of stuff in the kind of final battle there. Best death, I forget who's starting.
I think I went first last time, didn't I?
So Andy goes first. Right. Yeah, that's what kind of.
Right. I am going to go for.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Right. Let's start the ball rolling. Bronze. Old School, because that was just out of nowhere. That didn't see that coming.
Yeah. 2 for 1 as well.
And then I'm going for Silver. Split the long way in Slither. And then gold is 100% Mrs. Deagle getting flying through the window.
On the old
classic
stair lift.
I love it when old folks die.
Well, she was horrible, so it was quite satisfying. That's what Dean Pritchard and Mark and she have in common is that they were horrible and they were a good way to go. So I'm including that and I'm including that. So I might have to go Mrs. Deagle. She might have to be my bronze.
All right, yeah, I've got it.
Yeah. Split in half the long way. Did not anticipate it, and it made me laugh about that. But I think Dick Halloran is a classic. The axe to the chest from the coming from behind the pillar. First time, like you do not expect it to come because you think, "Oh, Scatman's coming to save the day here."
I've watched it. I don't know how many times I still forget it happens.
Yeah. Oh, update on the last podcast. I do now own the extended / normal version of The Shining, so I'll be able to catch up.
You finally watched the bits that we seen.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't watched it yet, but I got it from a Christmas, so it is on the to-do list that I will finally get to see the proper Shining. Chris, last one to vote.
Yeah, so my bronze is Mrs. Deagle because it cracks me up every time. I forget about it and just see her flying. my silver, nearly did it.
Hey.
I'm going for Colin Farrell in the Minority Report because it did give me a wee fright.
Yeah, it was one of your I didn't put in your jump scares in the end, Chris, but you nominated a whole bunch of I say maybe 5 jump scares throughout the season. That was one of them.
And my gold is Dick Halloran from The Shining.
Very good.
Traveling all across the country just to get smacked in the chest with an axe.
Yeah. I think that wins it for Dick. I think, yeah. Scatman Crawlers gets the winner for best death. I don't know if that's another award for The Shining. I think it's at least got one before, so a couple for The Shining so far. On to the next award. This is one of the 10 Point Podcasts awards. This is nobody else is doing this kind of awarding anywhere else. The Danny John Jules Award for most unexpected person in a film. Not a cameo.
We need to get Danny John Jules to do this next year.
Yeah. So named after Danny John Jules because he appeared out of nowhere in what was it, Blade 2?
Blade 2, and then
Blade
Little
2.
Shop of Horrors.
And then Little Shop of Horrors as well, just randomly. And then Christina Pickles, which was a bit of a downturn for the Danny John Jules. She just was in He-Man. And then Amanda Byram, the single most random piece of casting that's ever been in the cinema.
Which only British people would ever get, so the Americans were still like, who the fuck is Amanda Byram?
Who's that, yeah.
Which, I was watching, what is it, like, Good Food for You or something like that? And apparently she presents that on Channel 4 now.
There we go. Well, that's her from, what was it called? Dog's Breakfast. That's her
Dog's
from
Breakfast.
So this year, the most unexpected people to show up in the films we did. I keep saying year this season. Charlie Sheen as himself and being John Malkovich. And then as his older self as well, because the time passes.
Didn't age a day.
Elizabeth Moss as her, like in her pretty much her film debut in Suburban Commando with her cat stuck up a tree.
Right, I forgot he was in it.
Frank Grillo in Minority Report, as one of the cops, basically. Jack Gleason, yes, what do you call him? Horrible guy from Game of Thrones in Batman Begins as the little kid who then comes back into it again, which caught me off guard. I forgot he was in it as much. Joffrey, that was him. Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
I still forget we've watched Batman Begins, despite the fact this came up more than once.
Yeah. Star Wars is one for me. Like I totally blanked that we've done Star Wars. Despite the fact Carrie Fisher was in the Hall of Fame. Completely.
That's
blanked.
for Blues Brothers, though.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, and others, and When Harry Met Sally and everything else.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah,
she was in everything for a while. Jenna Fisher in Slither, before she was Pam, I think, being the police receptionist, basically, and being very sarky towards the bosses. Jonathan Banks, i.e. from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, he was in Gremlins as a police officer. Kyle Gass popped up again in Evolution, completely unanticipated he would show up in that. Sam Rockwell had lines and a character in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 1990. Terry O'Quinn, better known as John Locke to everybody else from Lost, he was an old school uncredited as playing the father of Alicia Cuthbert and the boss of Luke Wilson. And then Tony Hawk, Chris would argue that he actually wasn't in the film, but he was in Police Academy 4. Yeah. They are the nominees for the Danny.
I feel like you missed what do you call her from Catch Me If You Can, Elizabeth Banks.
I don't think she was nominated for Danny John Jules, to be honest. She was mentioned, certainly. I think she was mentioned for something. But yeah, she was but again, she was a working actress at the time. Catch Me If You Can had about 1 million people in it, so everyone, like, what do you call her from Alias, had like one scene in it as well.
Oh yes, it did.
It's a lot of people were in it. So as me go first, and I haven't really thought about it too much. I want him involved, and I want him involved. So Tony Hawk gets my bronze, because I would not have put that together, even because Police Academy 4 was like the late 80s, wasn't it? I didn't think Tony Hawk would be like big in the late 80s. I'm including Sam Rockwell. Right, he's my gold. So my silver is going to be Jonathan Banks in Gremlins, and Sam Rockwell is my gold. I did not expect him to show up. The best actor in all of Gremlins, in Teenage Mutant Turtles, was Sam Rockwell playing a very small part. Chris.
Okay, I'm quite similar to you, but I've gone for my bronze as Elizabeth Moss from Suburban Commando. I used to get a little mention every now and again.
Yeah.
My silver. Yeah, Sam Rockwell to me, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and gold is Jonathan Banks because I'm watching Better Call Saul now.
Okay, even better. Andy, how about you? You've got a tie-breaking to do here. Let's see if you do.
I'm doing bronze, Tony Hawk.
Right.
And then I'm doing silver, Frank Grillo, because I like Frank Grillo.
Oh.
Okay. And then I'm going, because I did not expect it, and it's a proper, what I call a Danny John Jules, especially when they're playing themselves, Charlie Sheen.
Right, okay. So we do have a tie then. So we need a tie broken between Jonathan Banks in Gremlins and Sam Rockwell in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right. Pick a number for them then.
Well, we'll say Jonathan Banks is 1 and Sam Rockwell's 2. We'll say.
And I generate 2.
2. Sam Rockwell is our winner. The Danny John Jules winner. That's a good turn, an upturn now, I would say. I think from some less famous people showing up and things. Sam Rockwell might be his first award, I would say. I'm sure he'll be happy to accept the lineage of Danny John Jules.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we get Danny John Jules to present an award to Sam Rockwell for best Danny John Jules? Oh, you don't get this another award.
He's just like,
yeah.
I need to make that happen at a Comic-Con at some stage.
Yeah. Right, best set is our next award. We used it a couple of times. The Atoll from Waterworld and the Big Garden from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids are previous winners. So this comes back in. But a lot of nominees this year. We were very impressed with how the films
How did the Nostromo win an award?
How did it not win?
From Alien. That's like the best set, surely.
We might not have had enough nominees that year. We only do the awards when people nominate things. Like there's one season I did every award that got nominated, and I've given up on doing that. So if you want honorary, you can have it in the past if you like. So the best sets for the season. A bit of thinking. Remember this one: the apartment building from Minority Report. It was like a top-down shot into this apartment building. You could see the kind of police force working its way through, while Tom Cruise was like hiding, kind of trying to avoid them and all that. But it was all one big set with one big kind of camera shot. The Batcave from Batman Begins. Another cave, as in the cave in Evolution, where the monsters landed, the aliens landed. The Overlook Hotel in The Shining. Ravenwood Manor from Beautiful Creatures, i.e. the big house the family lived in. Sewers, or if you prefer, the turtle lair in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We always have to get sewers shouted out.
Love a sewers.
The 7.5 floor from Being John Malkovich with its 5-foot ceiling. And Shenanigans in Waiting. Yeah. The TGI Fridays, Bennigan's ripoff. Which the entire film took place in, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
Other chain restaurants are available and for sponsorship as well.
It's me first, isn't it?
I think so. Go ahead.
Why not?
Right, okay.
We're at that stage we're all hammered.
I'm going to go for the sewers for the turtle lair in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
My silver. Oh, fuck me sideways. This is difficult. I'll go for the Batcave from Batman Begins. And my gold is the apartment shot in the Minority Report. Because
you were the one that put that forward, Chris. Yeah, I think we agreed with you. So that's true to form. Yeah, it was a fabulous shot. Andy.
Right. I'm going to go for bronze. Turtle Sewers. Silver. 7.5 floor from John Malkovich.
Oh, I forgot to shorter.
And then gold, I'm going for the cave in Evolution because that's a banger of a cave.
You did. I had my 3. I've kind of forgotten what my third one was. That was 1 and that was 1. Did I have the Batcave? I think I might have the Batcave as my bronze. Can't really remember. I'm really torn between my other 2. My other 2 are the 7.5 floor and the Overlook Hotel, because I very much enjoyed that documentary about The Shining, where it explained how the Overlook Hotel doesn't make sense. Like up to a certain point in the film, you can map it out in your head and it stops making sense. And I like that idea, and I also how much of it was actually a set. But
we know you've got a boner for The Shining.
I do. But the 7.5 floor was, I don't know, an all-timer. I think either way, it doesn't matter. I think we've got a winner regardless. So I'll go silver with the 7.5 floor, and I'll give my gold. I did it. Hey. So the Overlook Hotel, because I love it so much. It doesn't matter because the 7.5 floor is the winner anyway, with 2 silver medal wins. So. Being John Malkovich, 7.5 floor. It is amazing what taking a foot or 2 feet off the ceiling does and how hilarious it is to see everybody moving around like that. Best set, back on the board.
Why do ceilings have to be so high? Just make them short. It's a space saver.
Yeah, think about it. Extra
keeps the heat in as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Especially in this economy.
I was going to say, tough times.
Tough times. Best fight. I didn't realize this was as regular as it is.
Aye. There's always a fight.
The Blood Rave. Carano versus Fassbender, The Chosen One versus Goons when it was a baby, The Expendables versus Goons, and Jim Carrey versus Owen Wilson in a bathroom. They're all previous winners of Best Fight.
I love it when Chris has a wee flashback. He just
he remembers what it was.
Peanuts.
So, nominees this season. The adults versus the toys in the attic in Krampus. Billy versus Stripe when he has a chainsaw in Gremlins. The first night Bruce Wayne is Batman when he fights the goons at the docks. It's basically the first time he is Batman. Jake Anthony Thierry versus Mecha Quaritch. Basically his death scene when they fight next to the porter cabin thing. John Anderton versus the cops in the alley with the six sticks in Minority Report. Lloyd Christmas's martial arts dream, which he basically goes out on a date with Mary, doesn't he? And then ends up breaking out into a fight. The Predator takes down the French guys in Prey one by one, killing them in various different disgusting ways. And then Shep Ramsey versus the Bounty Hunters, brackets, one of which is the Undertaker, in Suburban Commando. They are our best fight nominees for this season. Now, I just went last, which means that I think Andy's going first.
What?
I just went first last one.
Yeah, Chris went first last time, so you go first this time.
All right. Right. This is the easiest one ever.
Good.
Right. Silver? Fucking hell, I don't know.
This has all done it now. Way
Bronze is going to be the six sticks in Minority Report.
Right.
Because that's just fucking genius. And then I'm going to go for silver this time. Oh, do I do it? Yeah, I'm definitely doing it. Silver, Lloyd Christmas.
When you said I'm going to do it, I knew you were leaning towards Dumb and Dumber there. It was weird.
And gold, not because of the film, because my pure hatred for the French. The Predator kills a bunch of French people.
It is classic now on Warzone. You should hear it.
Right, okay.
Warzone is just full of French and proxy chat, and apparently no fucker speaks English, and they all speak fucking Moulin Rouge language. So yeah, the Predator taking down a bunch of French people, I'm all for.
Supportive. Again, I've kind of got two, but I'm not sure what my third one is going to be.
There's a beer.
I think I'm going to have to give my silver to Minority Report as well. It's a good little fight.
It's a genius weapon.
Yeah, a good little fight sequence. So I can then give my silver to Jake Anthony Thierry in Avatar versus Quaritch. And my gold's also the Predator, not through any sort of xenophobia or anything like that, but just I vividly remember at one point one of the French guys shoots the bullet at the Predator, and the Predator heads it back and kills him, and that's just sold at that point. This film was amazing when that happened, so that's my gold for that. Chris?
Oh, this is quite a difficult one. My bronze has gone to Lloyd Christmas's martial arts dream because it's just so iconic. My silver, I've gone for John Archerton and the cops in the alley because the six stick was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And my gold is not because of the hatred of the French.
Yes, it is. You hate the French just as much as me in Call of Duty right now.
I'm laughing at you. It's fucking brilliant.
We can take down racists in that game as well. We're not the only racists.
Oh yeah.
We got called N-word by a Scottish kid the other night, and we just went for him and destroyed him.
Good.
Destroyed that little prick.
A force for good. You're on a mission from God to.
We became like the Justice League.
Right.
As well, yeah.
So there we go. The Predators. They are picked the Predator as the number one. Prey, I think, takes its first award of the evening.
Two. The good boy, the good doggy.
Oh, the good doggy as well. So Prey, the most recentest film we've ever done is there. Right, it's onto a different twist on an award here. Now, the chaps have been sent all the nominees here. It's mainly a test for Andy, because this was Andy's category. Andy was keeping track of best product placements in films. Nice. So what I've done is I've given Andy a list of films that we have nominated product placements from, and I want to see if he can remember any of the products from any of these films.
That's a fucking clue.
That would determine what the best product placement.
Do Evolution.
Right. What was the product in Evolution?
That was Head and Shoulders.
That was Head and Shoulders. You're right. So I'll put a point next to that now. Do you remember any other ones?
City Slickers, Golden Nugget, or something like that.
No,
Ben and Jerry's.
City Slickers was the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas.
I knew it was a hotel. Minority Report. Nah.
Guinness was what you went for in that, but there was a lot of
Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness.
The Guinness pint. Slither, fucking hell, I don't remember that one either.
You'll get a theme eventually. Budweiser was Slither.
Aye.
I can sense
The Shining was definitely food in the thing. What food was it? Heinz?
It was Heinz was the product placement there,
yeah. Waiting. Shenanigans?
yeah. No, Pepsi, because the horrible guy ordered a Pepsi for his girlfriend or whatever.
Gremlins.
I voted Burger King for Gremlins.
Miller.
Incorrect. It was Coors.
I knew it was a beer. So close. Suburban Commando, was that Miller?
That was Miller, yeah.
I knew one of them was Miller. Dumb and Dumber. It was in that. Nah.
That was Coors Light. They pay a lot of money in movies, apparently, Coors.
Police Academy 4, that's going to be Head and Shoulders as well, isn't it?
You're on the right line.
Gillette.
Yeah, Gillette for that one, because they changed it for Mace with Captain Hans.
Avatar was that university.
That Stanford University,
Yeah. And Krampus was DHL.
It was DHL. There we go. Jesus. So I think when we have Evolution, The Shining, Suburban Commando, Police Academy, Avatar, and Krampus.
But if I have to genuinely,
go ahead.
Genuinely, like picking wise, so I'll do this, and you guys can follow pursuit. I'm going to go for, because it was so easy to remember, I'm going to go for bronze. I'm going to say one of the beer ones. I'm going to go for, which one did I remember straight away?
Suburban Commando
bronze. Mm-hmm. Silver is DHL Krampus because it was part of the film, but the ultimate part of a film was Evolution, Head and Shoulders.
Head and Shoulders, yeah.
Because it was the MacGuffin, but not the MacGuffin. They needed it at the end.
Yeah.
Fixed it.
It was. I'm willing to not have to vote on this one, Chris. I don't know if you necessarily want to, because it was Andy's thing. But if you,
I'm happy with gold being
Head and Shoulders.
Evolution.
Head and Shoulders. Yeah, we'll leave it there then. I think that's fair to say best product placement Head and Shoulders, because it was it was the most a part of the story.
And to be fair, it didn't even take it away from the film. It wasn't like one of these things where it's like, I don't know, I can't even think of another film that does it, but like, you must use Coca-Cola to defeat this thing. It was it was so subtle. It was a product, like a chemical in it. Like, it was just so subtle. It was good product placement. Same kind of like thing as Krampus. The DHL driver just turns up and then there's a DHL van there.
Yeah.
Simples.
Oh, good. I'm happy with that then. So we'll give the Pointy Award to Evolution for Head and Shoulders.
Good drunken knowledge there.
Oof. Yeah, very well remembered. I won't test you too much, I don't think, going forward. Okay, we've got a best and a worst here for the same category. So we'll rattle off worst special effects here first. Gone in 60 Seconds, Blade 2, Imaginarium, District 9, and then Megazord Ivan Ooze have all previously been winners of worst special effects.
Can I just say that Gone in 60 Seconds is still the standout of that list? Because it's such a great film, and it's just like the fucking most CGI shit jump I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, ruining what could have been a perfect film, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
What's the Blade 2?
That was
the blood.
It was the Blade. That was the first one. Blade 2 was the fight. Where Danny John Jules flips in looking like a CGI kind of mannequin.
Yes, right, yeah.
And then in front of the light. I can't remember what to pronounce this.
Imaginarium was just the entire film.
I've blacked that out. I think it might have been a snake or something. And then obviously District 9, I think we just had issue with something. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, anyway. They're old seasons. Listen to old Pointies to find that out. So the worst CGI and special effects. It's not just. It's not just CGI. The bear in Prey. We had slight issues with that. I don't remember this at all, but you guys definitely. Dr. Block saves the girl from the dragon's claws in Evolution. So I sit back and I don't know what you're talking about here. So do you remember?
That's when the dragon picks her up and then flies through the thing, but it looks really shit.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough.
Flies through them all.
The faces in the oxygen masks in Avatar. The next one's why they're laughing. Dubbed by Andy, Jim Ross Krampus. With his kind of slightly, I don't know, relaxed face. Stuck in one position. Yes. The Krampus with maybe some palsy.
It's like the animatronics at the left hand side didn't work.
So the Krampus, his face only, we liked everything else. The owls in Dumb and Dumber are looking like they were puppets being worked by people underneath them. Suitor getting electrocuted at the end of Suburban Commando, and then Weensy, basically the gymnastics flip in Old School, but we didn't like him going off, and the manhole looked a bit funny as well. So Weensy-related stunts. Is it me go first? I'm kind of lost away because that was an Andy.
I don't
It
know.
was an
I
Andy
feel like
special.
I went first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Bruce.
Right. So I will go. And I think the owls were bad enough that they deserve a bronze. I need to fit the Krampus in, so I'm thinking he's going to be silver because I did have a problem with how once you finally, like Chris kept saying, it's only on screen for 3.5 minutes, the Krampus and all that sort of stuff. Once you finally see his face,
and then you see it, and he's fucked it.
Yeah, a bit rubbish. But I think Weensy, I don't like that kind of. It's meant to be funny, but it doesn't look that good. It's kind of spinning on the wire, so it was overplayed.
And you hate Kung Pao so far.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine because that's meant to be, but this is meant to be. It's 2003. Everyone's seen it by that point, so that's my gold medal, Chris.
I agree with your bronze and silver, but my gold is Dr. Block when he saves a girl from an evolution.
Yeah, I can't picture that, so fair enough. Andy.
I'm going to go for, I almost ruined a near perfect film, which was The Bear. So that's bronze, because that was pretty good, and then that CGI was pretty gash. I'm going to then go for silver, the oxygen face masks.
You had a big
because that was like a brilliantly thingied film, and then those face masks used to look like it was an afterthought and added on. But I'm with Chris. Gold, Dr. Block. Block. That was pretty fucking bad CGI.
Yeah. Okay, well again, that's a winner then for Evolution. I think it's 2 in a row for Evolution. I do not remember that scene, so I can't really comment any further on that. Best special effects, on the other hand, would you like to commend good things as well? Previous winners, which I don't know if that's why Chris was like. Previous winners: Sperm, the Invisible Swordsman, and then basically all Jurassic Park. It was the dinosaurs, basically in Jurassic Park. This year's nominees: The Battle in the Hallelujah Mountains in Avatar. Grant is back again as his Blob. The Gremlins themselves from Gremlins. The Many Malkoviches and Being John Malkovich, all happening to be in the one basically restaurant at the same time. The Spinning Dining Room in what's it called? Beautiful Creatures. Do you remember that scene?
I remember that actually being pretty good.
Okay.
I think that was one of the high points.
I think it was, yes. And then the toys in Krampus, namely like the Jack in the Box and the bear and the doll when they were attacking everybody. So they are the nominees for Best Special Effects. I think Chris is scratching his head because he knows he's going first.
Okay. I'm going to say my bronze is going to be the Gremlins. Mm-hmm. My silver, I'll put the toys from Krampus. And my gold will be the Many Malkoviches.
Many Malkoviches. Okay. Andy.
I don't know if that is my answer. I've just picked 3 random things.
I do that sometimes as well.
I'm flipping a couple of Chris's. I'm going to go for bronze, being the Krampus toys, because they're pretty good. Silver, I'm going to go for Gremlins. But James Cameron deserves some props. Gold, the big battle in Avatar.
Fair enough. Okay, well, since none of you have mentioned it, I'm going to give it some thumbs up. I'm giving that Spinning Dining Room scene with Creatures my bronze, because I think it deserves something, and it was basically the only good thing in that film. My silver is... I'm passing over the Gremlins. They're my honourable mention to give my silver to Malkovich. But Avatar, special effects, hand in hand, has to be the winner. Like, it's kind of unfair to compare what was going on in that scene in Avatar to anything else.
and also,
do I even nominate that? I've got a mind blank within like 2 minutes.
But also, for people who haven't seen Avatar 2, that first scene in Avatar 1 is way better than the entire Avatar 2.
Yeah.
Like, that was, 10, 15 years ago, and it still fucking holds up way better than anything James Cameron's done right now.
Yeah. And that's the winner. A win for Avatar, the most expensive and most valuable film of all time. Finally wins an award at the Pointies, I think. A little break for you guys doing your voting. I'll give you a little bit of information about the season. Ooh. I keep track of the stats over the year. I don't know if you've noticed. I do on point 4 every week. And these are the stat winners, if you want to call it that. I don't know if you remember the season before. Probably not likely. The film with the most shits was Dogma, and the film with the most F-bombs was Dogma. So this season, the film with the most shits was Clerks 2, and the film with the most F-bombs was also Clerks 2.
Yeah, boy. Kevin Smith knows how to write a film.
Definitely a trend there. Most explosions. We didn't hit 100 explosions in any film we did this season.
That's why I felt like a poor season.
Maybe, because Avatar was the most with 97 explosions. Highest budget.
Yeah. So close.
So close to 100 in a minute.
Did you count the extended cut? Maybe you got 3 more in there.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we've got 100 for that then. Deaths, though, this is usually what brings Andy to a film. Suburban Commando had the most deaths, which clocked in at 5,000 plus. Because Shep Ramsey blows up a sort of Star Destroyer at the beginning of the film, and we guessed a good few thousand on that.
I remember that. Like, oh, that president's done for. Fuck it, this is destroy the whole bit.
Yeah. I think outside of that, I think Avatar might have won most death outside of that. But yeah, some romantics away. Dead animals. Prey was the one that had the most. We had 10 different varieties of dead animals.
That's really just a scene of just, here's another dead one, here's a dead one, here's a dead one.
Exactly. So I had the most dead animals. I was really worried for our cows and goats because they didn't get many hits this year. We do have films. Cows, the film that had the most cows in it was Clerks 2. There were 45 cows in Clerks 2 because I counted movies.
Oh, right.
So I don't think it was an actual cow the whole season, but it's hung on by the skin of its teeth.
Norm.
Oh, Norm. Okay, so yeah, there was another film. I don't have the whole thing in front of me, but Norm. So there we go. So cows is safe. If we get none across the board, it's out. That's what I've done with some of the things. Right. As in, the Devil's a goner. After the season, the Devil's out. We never had him all year. The KKK.
Wait till next season. He's
KKK's Nazis didn't show up. They're out and all. So
good. We've stamped out racism.
Yes, there we go. Goats. This was very tight. No goats appeared on screen the entire time, except in Batman Begins, you can hear 2 when he's climbing up the mountain. So goats hangs on with the value of hearing 2 in Batman Begins. The only thing from the other quotas that has stayed is paedophiles, because you guys do love sniffing out a paedophile on this. The film that had the most had 3 in it, because it was determined by our panel that Waiting had 3 paedophiles in it.
Yeah.
Which... Well, goes into the podcast.
Who was the third one?
I think it was Rob Benedict, or the character.
Right, yes, at the party, he's hitting on the high schoolers. Got you.
I think it was him. Tom Cruise trifecta I brought back this year, and I got hit once. The Tackleberry trifecta in Police Academy 4 was the only person to complete the trifecta.
Oh, he to rename it as the Tackleberry trifecta.
The Tackleberry trifecta. Which film? Here we go. Which film do you think said the thing the most all season?
Police Academy.
I would say so.
It said it nonce, if I remember rightly. No times did they ever say Police Academy. Yeah. Minority Report. 9 times they said Minority Report. Because he was like, give me my Minority Report. Give me my... And then they had to explain what it was in the film and all that as well. There was 1 Wilhelm scream all season. And that was in Prey. So Chris can keep his keen ear out for that. And do you remember, Chris, one film we think has broken the world record for most nut shots in a film? Do you remember what it was?
Oh, Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. We believe 20 by Chris's count. There were 20 nut shots. And they were the winners of the stats this year. But yes, I've eliminated the rest. They should not be counted going forward. And maybe some new ones might come in. We'll find out. On to one of the major awards. The reason we're all here is to rate and review movies. Worst film of the season. Do you guys have
I'm notoriously bad for picking bad films, so
that is a good point. Actually, I meant to check. I think Chris has successfully picked the worst film every season. So
good, I've avoided that one. Jesus,
I might be wrong.
Until next season.
I told you it was one, or not what's lost this season yet, Andy. But in the first 5, I think it was always Chris, unless the last season was the wheel.
I can never be as worse as Chris because I'll just end the season before I have matches. I'll end it. That's the podcast over.
So. We had 4 films that scored 3 or lower this year, which is okay. It's not bad. We've had worse seasons. So the 4th worst film on Tiebreakers, selected by Andy, was Suburban Commando. That was the 4th.
Oh no, that's
worst.
4th. All right, okay.
4. I'm working my way down, Chris. That was the 4th worst. It got a 3 out of 10.
Robbed.
With 3 votes of 3. So Rob Daddy says who gave it a 3. The 3rd worst film, selected by myself, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I remember that being so much better.
By virtue of me giving it a 2 out of 10, and you guys both giving it 3, so it got 3. And this is where it's squeaky bum time for Chris. He knows he's got something in the danger zone here. The 2nd worst film of the season, selected by Chris.
No.
Police Academy 4.
Here.
Citizens on Patrol. 3 out of 10. Andy gave it a 2. I tell a lie, actually. Chris gave the Turtles a 2. That was his worst score of the season. Because I gave Police Academy a 2, and that was my worst score of the season. Chris gave Police Academy 4 a 4. But it's dragged down by our 2s to be the second worst film of the season. But the worst film of the season, with a 2 out of 10, only film to only get 2 out of 10. A 1 from Andy, a 3 from me, somehow, and a 3 from Chris, somehow. Beautiful Creatures, selected by The Wheel.
Oh, he avoided it.
He avoided it. I think it's the first time Chris hasn't picked the worst film.
Yeah.
Emily, Jade's friend.
Wait till next week. Next season.
I don't know. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Bruce is going to have to bring the season up.
I'm going to have to bring the average up, am I? My God. Yes, Beautiful Creatures. As long ago as it was in July, we did that.
That was the very first film, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't.
That was the problem with that season. We started down here.
Yeah. If that came halfway through the season, it might have got a better rating. I think it's still shit.
I'd have gone worse, I reckon. I'm surprised you gave it a 3. So, yeah. Beautiful Creatures, the worst film of season 6. Possibly giving Chris a break from picking bad films. We've now reached the halfway point in the 10-point podcast.
I need a piss.
Me too. So we'll see you all after the interval. I can't remember how I do it normally, so I will do that. Okay. And we're back for the second half of season 6 10-point podcast Pointy Awards.
The best award ceremony ever.
So they say. Before we get back to giving awards out to the movies, though, there's one award that we can't go any further without giving out.
What else can I win?
Unfortunately, Andy, you absolutely are not eligible for this one because this is who is the quiz champ of season 6. So, Andy gave us 20 quizzes throughout the season.
Here we go. He's already kicking off. You look at his face.
He's no idea how well or how badly he's done.
Absolutely fucking pissed he is.
Okay. Right, so on a guess, we did 20 quizzes, Chris. Every week we did one. How many do you think you won?
7 at most.
Right, we'll find out how many won.
I can guarantee by Bruce's reaction, that was wrong.
It's not 7. Right, okay. The quiz results were, we had 20 quizzes. 1 week, it was a draw because Andy decided to rob me of a victory that week for some reason and gave Chris the exact number of points he needed to tie with me for some reason. I don't know. There was some bullshit. And
that'll be the 1 week. He's like, okay, I'll make it fair. So he seems like he's not getting cheated.
So there was a draw. So therefore, it can't be an even number. Therefore, one of us has won. So at the end of the season, after 20 Chris quizzes, Chris was victorious in 5 quizzes, and I won 14. So I was the champ at the end. There were several weeks where Andy tried to screw me over as well, Chris. I think there were 3 occasions where you got more questions than I did. I think so. It wasn't all anti-Chris quizzing, but yes, I kind of soundly defeated you. I think you did better in the previous year, if I remember correctly. So maybe good luck next time. Maybe I don't know if Andy's the quiz master again next year or whatever.
Oh, I'm happy. I feel like the fans love it, but I think I might bring more randomness next time.
Right. There was a good variety of quizzes this year, and there was one where I
what's what I remember about whales and fish? It was weird.
Yeah, there was. It was like to do with mammals and sea fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Predator. It was to do with Predator, is what it was. Yeah. Is an animal.
Oh yeah, the Predator train thing.
Yeah.
That was it.
Is this a predator? Is this a predator? Yeah. There was the one where are we smarter than a 10-year-old or whatever? I think I won by about 6 points or something that week. Chris split himself down badly. But
there's a point, if I get screwed in the first one, that's it. I'm putting no effort in.
You mean you get the word screwed out of it and you don't know the first question?
It's things like Bruce will get on screen a number flashed up and it's literally 1 for like 10 minutes, and I'll get Chris behind things you can't see, something happened. What was it? And I'm like, how the fuck are you supposed to know that?
It's completely random. You at the start of every quiz always got to choose who goes first.
No, yeah, just because I choose doesn't mean you haven't got the questions sorted. But like, difficult question, easy question. Oh, Chris is first.
It's never like that.
Yeah, it is because you can see you scrolling down for the difficult question.
That girl can't read shit.
That's
me trying to read. You dyslexic racist motherfucker.
Chris's number memory of seeing something on screen and be able to recite like a 10-digit number.
He's got Rayman brain.
He does. Anyway, there we go. I won the quiz. Back to the proper Pointy Awards then. We'll start with that very hotly contested.
He's gone.
Best acting. Chris might be a nominee. Best acting for the season. Former winners. This used to be different awards, now it's all combined into one. Jim Carrey, Mila Jovovich, Bill Goldberg.
That's the one. Amazing.
Rosamund Pike. The Rosamund Pike redemption arc. Christoph Waltz, Raul Julia, and then Michael Douglas won it last year for Falling Down. Was our best acting.
Like, amazing.
Yes, that's one way of looking at it. So the nominees this year: Amber Midthunder for Prey. She played. I forgot what her name is now. Not Nala. That was the dog in something. Anyway, Amber Midthunder in Prey. Naru in Prey. Christopher Lloyd as I can't remember his character name. The dad in Suburban Commando. We all agreed he was the best at acting in the film. Jack Nicholson as Jack in The Shining. Jeff Anderson as Randall in Clerks 2. Jeff Daniels as Harry in Dumb and Dumber.
I thought it was another thing with it. I was like, this is quite easy, this one.
John Malkovich. Oh, is that what the space was? There we go. Yeah, Jeff Daniels. John Malkovich as himself and being John Malkovich. Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. Michael Rooker as Grant in Slither. Tom Cruise in Minority Report as John Anderton. And Zoe Saldana as Neytiri in Avatar. These are our many nominees for the best acting performance.
It was a lot easier when there was only 4.
I have no idea where we are in terms of voting.
I'll start again.
I was just to start with games back then.
Right. I reckon I'm going to go for bronze. I'm going to give it Jack Nicholson. He played a pretty good nutter.
Yes, he did.
And then I'm going to go for Amber Midthunder in Prey. But it pains me to say it. Gold, Zoe Saldana for Avatar, because she's pretty good in that, and she was apparently the only one that actually did every scene herself. So
yeah, that was I broke it down on the podcast. Yeah,
put the face thing on, and she acted in front of everybody, even if they weren't there. So
yeah,
and she made a whole language up. I don't know how you speak Navi or whatever.
Navi, yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I was going down a similar line of thinking, Andy.
That's the last thing I'm doing because my brain hurts now.
There's a few I can miss out that I'm not going to include. I don't think DiCaprio deserved it for Catch Me If You Can. Michael Rooker, I don't really remember Slither that well, so I'm not going him. Cruise wasn't so good. So, limiting my numbers here. I'll go Amber Midthunder as my silver. Bronze.
Hey. He said one too many.
I have.
Chris looks like he's trying to hold a fart in.
I'm thinking.
Right. I'll flip the others, I think, and I'll go Zoe Saldana with my silver. But I'm giving Jack Nicholson the gold. You know, I have a thing for The Shining.
Literally, Shining comes up. Fucking, it's a goal instantly. He's got a hard on for that.
He's a very, very good actor, and it's possibly his greatest acting role. So, and he's
all they had to do was sit in a hotel. Zoe Saldana had to be in front of a green screen, a blue screen,
hey,
learn a new language.
I nominated Zoe Saldana because of all that she went through. So that's why she's there, and she's winning at the moment. So, Chris, who are you voting for?
I'm going to blow this thing wide open, by the way. Brace yourselves. Right. So, my bronze is Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber.
Right, okay.
My silver is Amber Midthunder from Prey.
Okay.
My gold, because he is criminally underrated, is Jeff Anderson from Clerks 2.
Right, okay.
He does love a comedy.
I love Jeff Anderson. He's fucking brilliant.
He is so good.
By the
Clerks
skin
3, he is
of
supreme.
Her teeth, Zoe Saldana has held on to being the best acting performance of the season, just beating Amber Midthunder. So there's the female representation.
Yeah, there's your diversity. There's your female.
When they're good, they get nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a gold and a silver.
She controversial. Women are not normally that good in films.
That's very controversial. A gold and a silver, I think, beats out 2 silvers and a bronze. So Zoe
I want to rephrase that. They're now not used as sex objects.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Because our films were from 1995 normally, whereas women actually are allowed to act nowadays.
Yeah, they're allowed to.
See, I'm thinking Harvey Weinstein's in jail. They can act now. See, in practice, not being controversial for next season.
Good. Thank you. Yes, confirmed. Zoe Saldana hangs on to the Best Acting Award going into our
Well-deserved.
previous winner list. Yes, like I say, it wasn't easy what she did, and she did it very well. A classic on the 10 Point Podcast. We love a twist. Chris specifically loves a twist.
Yes, this is Chris's award.
Best twist of the season. Previous twists. The twist in the boy in the striped pajamas. The twist in the witch. The twist in Alien. The twist in Ready or Not. And then the twist in Seven, which there's several in Seven, but it's the one at the end, basically. Nominees for this season. Dick Halloran spends most of the film traveling to the Overlook Hotel, only to be murdered immediately by Jack Torrance when arriving there.
Gold for Bruce.
Harry, from Dumb and Dumber, is working with the FBI and bursts into the room at the end to basically save the day. The reveal of Kinky Kelly and the Sexy Stud at the end of Clerks 2. And in Prey, the twist of there actually being a lion after we have watched the Predator killing people and us knowing there's a Predator, and then the natives being worried about this lion. It turns out there actually is a lion as well, was the twist there. And City Slickers 2, they followed an Adventure Day map to find some fake gold, but then there actually is some real gold at the end of City Slickers 2. They are our best twists.
Right, you don't need to take too long, Bruce. We all know where your gold is.
I mean, on balance of what the nominees are, it's standing out to me. I'm ruling out Harry working with the FBI as a good twist. I'm not including that. So, I did think Sticky Slickers was done very well. Kinky Kelly's bronze. That's funny. Good gag twist is always good. So, is the lion more twisty than The Shining? It's not really a twist necessarily, is it? So yeah.
No, it is. I'm gonna come save a day. No, you're not. Whack.
Yeah, I suppose. I think it's more impactful than the lion. Is it? You convinced me, Chris. Silver to the lion.
There was no convincing of that. That was shoehorned.
I was ready.
That was in there.
I was ready.
The gold.
The Shining. The twist that Dick Halloran gets killed immediately. Chris, you next.
So my bronze is there actually is a lion. My silver is just because it was fucked up. The Kinky Kelly and the Sexy Stud. But my gold also goes to Halloran. Coming to save the day, totally get chopped in the chest with an axe.
After spending probably a good 10, 15 minutes of the film.
Can you imagine just sitting there playing nowadays with your headphones and going, I'm going to save this day here. No, you're not. Whack.
Andy.
Well, I'm going for the Shining bronze.
Shining bronze.
Then I'm going for the FBI, like thinking work for the FBI, because that is actually a good twist and see that coming. But Kinky Kelly is gold, because it is just gold.
It is gold.
I remember all of us thought that Kinky Kelly was the guy.
100%.
That's the point, yeah. Yeah.
Or is that the other end? Did you see Kinky Kelly and the Sexy Stud?
Oh, no, yeah, he's the Sexy Stud. He's going to fuck a woman.
But you're supposed to think that the donkey is the Sexy Stud, and then there's a woman called Kelly.
But and he's just the handler.
You think, exactly, he's just helping. Yeah. The Shining wins, but we knew that. Not by a mile. Like Kinky Kelly wasn't far behind. No, it was like a gold and a bronze versus a gold, a silver, and a bronze. So it was very close. On to the next one. A new award for this season because they kept coming up in film after film. Best Badass of the season is the next award. Now, different contexts of badass. It's all down to personal judgment of what you think a badass is. Nominees: Batman from Batman Begins. Billy's mum from Gremlins, mainly because she single-handedly took down like 3 or 4 gremlins in her kitchen that time.
It's this one that's confusing me.
Bishop in Waiting. He just comes across as a badass. Like he's one of them silent badasses. Like he doesn't need to talk loudly. Doesn't need to cause a scene because he could kill a man with his pinky if he wanted to. I felt like he came across as a badass like that. It's not actually about being violent. It's about coming across as a badass. Casey Jones in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Duke in City Slickers, Curly's brother. Naru in Prey, our main character. Quaritch in Avatar. And Shep Ramsey, Hulk Hogan, in Suburban Commando.
Well, at least Jack Nicholson's not getting an award this time.
Exactly. There's no badasses in The Shining.
Okay, I'm not going to go down your usual route here. Like, Batman's overdone. He's a badass and everything. This needs to be done. So my bronze, I'm going to go for Billy's mum in the Gremlins because she was a badass. Yeah. My silver, I'm going to go for Quaritch from Avatar, and my gold is Naru from Prey.
Okay.
Prey is my Shining for Bruce.
Right, okay, yeah. The same films getting picked for most awards, yeah. Andy.
Right. Bronze. Shep Ramsey from Suburban Commando. Because that man doesn't give a shit who he kills.
He did not.
And then I'm going to go for silver. Not bronze again. Silver. Naru. Because, yeah, she's pretty good. But Quaritch, the ultimate grade A badass, gets gold.
Well, yeah.
Him just popping out of like planes to shoot people.
Yeah.
Fuck
oxygen. I don't need oxygen.
Yeah.
I'm shooting a motherfucker.
He's getting in my conversation, as is Naru. I'll put Bishop
Wait
forward.
there. I've just had a brain fart. I don't know if it's a drink talking or not. Right. Quaritch shoots bullets. Okay. Is the gravity same on Pandora? And does bullets work in the same way? If there's a lack of oxygen and shit like that, like how does it ignite, and then how does it float so much?
Well, I did not include best science. We had a lot of discussion. Sorry,
worst. That is something though.
Worst science was much debated throughout the season, and one of which was how do the Hallelujah Mountains work in Pandora? And the theory was it's kind of magnets and gravity and all that. And Chris quite correctly pointed out, how do the waterfalls fall off of these mountains that are floating in the sky? How does the mountain float and then the water fall off at the same time? So gravity is mental on Pandora.
It's where the water comes from, because once it's gone, that's it. There's no more water.
Yeah, it's like, and it's not raining all the time. So
we are poking holes in Avatar. How is this the most highly rated film ever?
So anyway, back to best badass. Bishop gets my bronze because I think I stated my case earlier. Who is more? I think, unfortunately, I think Naru is only a silver badass, whereas Quaritch is a gold-plated badass. I think he's every bit the badass we all want to be, and he is the winner. There's another award for Avatar.
Can you imagine Naru versus like Quaritch?
Well, it's going to be Neytiri versus Quaritch.
I'm going to say Neytiri kills him.
No, what you do is you have predators on Pandora, because I feel like the predators should be on Pandora because there's a lot of big game in there to hunt.
yeah.
That's a film I want to see. Avatar 3. Avatar versus Predator.
It might be where
you could just bring every universe together, have a big massive like Marvel versus Predator.
Iron Man versus Predator versus oh my god. The fan wank over that.
I was gonna say this is a cinema goer's wet dream.
Yeah. It would just be seeming all over that screen.
On to the next award. Most annoying kid is next.
This is a Bruce special.
Really been grinding my gears over the years, so it's been well represented this year. Denny from The Room, Melvin from Tremors, and that annoying kid that was pestering Sam Neill in Jurassic Park are previously annoying kids. This season, most annoying kids, pick from.
This is fucking brutal, this one.
Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins. He was annoying, was he not? If it hadn't been for him being like, oh, I don't like the opera, his parents would be still alive.
I did say that.
So hit him. The Chinese boy, that's his character name in Gremlins, for pretty much selling a Mogwai out from underneath his grandpa, who definitely didn't want to sell it. He made sure that he sell it. Probably pocketed some of the cash from it as well. Creepy zombie girls in Slither. Chris was especially unsettled by.
That's because his kids look like them.
Creepy zombie kids freak me out. Like,
yep. Danny Pennington in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do you remember who that was? I do.
Yeah. Is that the first guy who was in?
No, it's the ginger kid who annoyed, stole from his dad and they went to.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to be a shredder anymore.
Had another film alongside the rest of the film, wearing the same T-shirt the whole time. That was what annoyed me about him. Was he always in the same T-shirt? Jordan and Stevie, the cousins of our main family in Krampus, the two girls that were essentially being raised as boys.
They're girls, not boys. I just realised.
Yeah, exactly. Lena, our main female character in Beautiful Creatures, who we deemed... well, she was definitely a child at the beginning of that film, and the whole film...
we had to do the sex talk, didn't we?
All this sort of stuff, exactly, yeah. But we found her quite annoying. The skateboard kid in Suburban Commando, the one who's given old Shep Ramsey some grief and saying my mum can skateboard better than you or some nonsense like that. And I saw this Andy nominated this one, Tony from The Shining.
Finger.
Yeah, and not necessarily Danny Torrance, but Tony Torrance, the voice inside his mouth. So yeah, there you go. There are nominees. Did me go first, or am I completely lost?
Nobody knows.
So Andy, Bruce, me, Andy.
Andy to go first for most annoying kid.
This is annoying because there's not enough here. I'm going for the cousins and Krampus.
Okay.
Because they were pretty dickish.
They were especially horrible because they stole his letter to Santa and read it out at the table in front of everybody. So.
And then I'm going to go for Chinese boy and Gremlins because you should never sell something behind your grandpa's wishes or his dad, whoever the fuck he was. But the ultimate annoying kid was Bruce Wayne. Because he should not have just went, we need to leave the opera. Like, they paid, like, opera tickets are not cheap. Now, I'm not going to go to the opera because I'm smart. But if I paid for something, I'm going to sit through it. I once sat through a really bad play that I'm never going to watch ever again. But, like, when you're there and then you suddenly open the pamphlet up and it says the word interactive, fuck me.
Oh, no.
I've paid money to be here. I was like, but I'm going to persevere and then ruin this interactive play. See how good the acting really fucking is.
Right. I'm very similar to Andy in as much as I'm going Danny Pennington from the Turtles as my bronze. My silver is the Chinese boy. My gold is also Bruce Wayne, the whiny little cretin that he is. Chris.
Okay, my bronze is the creepy zombie girls from Slither. My silver, I've gone for Jordan and Stevie from Krampus. And my gold is Danny Pennington from Teenage Mutant Ninja
Right,
Turtles.
okay.
Prick.
Special vendetta against him.
He was just a wee knob.
He was, and he took away turtle time. Bruce Wayne wins, although he doesn't really because his parents are dead. So.
They could have been child abusers. You don't know that.
Well, that might be the next evolution of Batman.
So imagine here's the award for being an annoying kid, but you don't really win because your parents are dead.
We give it and take it away in this podcast.
Yeah. On to the next award. One of our longest serving ones. Plan. We like to talk about plans here. The best plan. Who had the best idea about how to approach something? Previous winners were the plans to rob the racetrack in Logan Lucky. Hans Gruber's very unlucky to be unsuccessful plan at the Nagatomi Tower, so it was called Nagatomi.
He even had to change your vehicle and it still lost.
Yeah, exactly. And then John Doe's 7 Deadly Sins was another previous winner of Best Plan from 7.
I'm loving some of the wording you've put in for this, by the way.
Right, fair enough. The assassination of Mrs. Deagle in Gremlins, which was a planned attack, as Andy broke down on the podcast, because the Gremlins set up a little choir outside to distract her, while one or two of them were fiddled with her little stair lift so that she would shoot up the stairs and fly out the front window and die. And she's definitely dead because we deemed at the time the police, whoever it was was that Mrs. Deagle, or that was Mrs. Deagle or something like that? So like she was dead. This is Andy's wording, this one. The Danny Torrance maze ruse from The Shining, where he
I used the word ruse in a sentence.
I think it was you anyway, unless it was Chris wants to claim it. But yeah, him suckering his dad into the maze at the end of The Shining. Getting sea bass to pay for their food in Dumb and Dumber, which is very good with the kind of waving over to him and all that. The Head and Shoulders mega enema of evolution, pretty much saving the day from the aliens at the end of evolution. Again, we're back to Beautiful Creatures, if you remember. I explained earlier on, Macon disguising himself as Ethan, sacrificing himself so that everyone could survive. I missed an E off of the word the here, but Mitch winning the penis game and waiting at the very end. Naru's plan to trap the Predator, which pretty much wrapped up everything that had happened previously in her adventure to catching the Predator, like in the kind of swampland, wasn't it? Paying Crow to act like he killed John Atherton's son in Minority Report, which was where things started to get confusing. But the whole plan basically goes back to Max von Sydow. It was so complicated to try and work out that film, but him telling this guy to pretend to do it so that John Atherton would think that it was him and all this sort of stuff and all that nonsense. But the plot of Minority Report. And then Simon Says Jailbreak in Police Academy 4, where they trick Proctor, I think it is, into giving them the keys so they can all break out of prison in Police Academy 4. Is it Chris to go first?
Yeah, I think so. Right. My bronze is going to be Naru's plan to trap the Predator, because the characters wrapped everything up, everything that she'd gone through. My silver, I'll go for sea bass paying for their food in Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
And my gold will be Mitch winning the penis game.
Mitch winning the penis game. Good old Mitch. And his only line of his only monologue of the whole film, basically. Andy, where do your votes go?
Right. Completely different. I'm going to go for the flawless plans.
Mm-hmm.
So, flawless plan number 1, bronze. I'm going to go for getting sea bass to pay for the food. That just worked.
Completely different.
I'm going for silver, the assassination of Mrs. Deagle. Because the Gremlins just executed that perfectly.
Yeah.
However, it's just sheer genius, and it was flawless. Simon Says jailbreak from Police Academy 4.
It was genius, and that was flawless. They managed to escape.
It might have been higher up if it was on somebody smarter than Proctor.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But just
easy mark.
But the fact is, they didn't know that Proctor would come in. They had that in their head. Just whoever walked in, we're going to have a game of Simon Says, which then makes it even better.
My bronze is sea bass, just because I think it's small scale but brilliantly executed.
It's got a good payoff as well because he comes back later on.
Of course, yeah. I'd like to put Minority Report in, but I still don't actually get my head around how he planned it. How can he actually have planned the whole thing out? I know what I know what my gold is. So what's my silver? I think I will go along with whoever's the Predator one. Was that you, Chris? I think.
What is that?
My silver is Naru killing the Predator, but my gold is the assassination of Mrs. Deagle. Because when you break it down, that was a very good plan executed.
Those Gremlins,
It was meticulous.
It's the fact that they know wiring so well.
Yeah. And also they hit on like the most horrible person in the whole town to kill off. Like she's the only person that died in the film. I think that wins it for her. I think by my looking. So yeah, the assassination of Mrs. Deagle by the coward the Gremlins is the best plan winner. I don't know if that's the first win for Gremlins or not. Could well be. On to one of the most contentious and most argued awards of the evening. Best Cameo. We've only ever had one cameo winner before, and that was Robert Downey Jr. coming in for one scene during the film Chef, because he knows the director, didn't have to do too much hard work, appears on the screen, and we're like, oh, it's Robert Downey Jr. from famous stuff and all that. Hence Cameo. So these are the people that were dubbed a cameo during season 6 of the podcast.
Here we go. He's going to kick off.
Dan Aykroyd in Evolution, his cameo. Norman in City Slickers 2, Andy nominated him, but he's only in one scene, and it's like, oh, it's the cow from the first one. Rob Zombie in Slither is a cameo. He's on the phone in one scene. You only know it's him if you know it's him. So that one, Chris could argue if he wanted to. Sean William Scott, at the height of his powers, appearing in Old School as the guy
in the face.
Oh, that's not hit. That's not in the face.
Whatever.
Is it? No, that's the guy from the
Hangover.
In the face.
But Sean William Scott, oh, you just take him onto the jugular. It's like, yes.
That was the jugular, yeah. Yes, that was it.
Tim Blake Nelson in Minority Report, because we had to fit him in somewhere, we decided that he's in that role because he's Tim Blake Nelson. The Time Machine appearing in the background in a scene of Gremlins and then being gone in the next scene in Gremlins. Todd Phillips as himself in Old School. The only time tonight that one film has two nominees from the same category. Todd Phillips snuck in. And then Wanda Sykes doing her thing in Clerks 2 in the porch monkey scene of Clerks 2.
None of them bother me. It was Ryan Reynolds' mother in the Waiting.
Yeah, exactly.
You all seem to take offence to. It's the same situation as Robert Downey Jr. She was in for one scene.
Okay. Right, okay. The difference is you could put...
Because you know who Robert Downey Jr. is.
Yeah.
I've seen her on a few other things.
And you don't even know her name?
Yeah. It was only you that seemed to know who she was.
Still a fucking cameo.
It's not. A cameo is you know the person just by looking at them. You're like, oh, that's that person. Like, it's... Or they have some significance, like, oh, that's the director cameoing in his own film.
Or the cow from the first film coming back again as a cameo.
Oh, yeah. But no, not just a professional actor acting in a scene in another professional production doesn't count as a cameo. She's not in that scene because people know who she is. She's in that scene because she's a talented actor.
Is that the same for everybody then?
No.
Just pick somebody.
They phoned Dan Aykroyd to be, can you come and be in Evolution because of you're in Ghostbusters and all that sort of stuff. That's an example. They didn't phone her and say, oh yeah, we've seen you in all those TV shows that you're in. Can you come and be Ryan Reynolds' mum for us because everyone knows who you are and you're very famous and all that. It's not like that. It's a different thing. Being cast is different than doing a cameo.
And a cameo.
So why isn't
it's always a favour?
Yeah.
Maybe it is fair. Why is it not the same for what's his face's mum? Just as Long's mum in the same film because she's in it for the same length of time.
Well, who is she?
Exactly,
Yeah.
she's fucking nobody. But I recognise the other one.
No, we don't know.
But
Just because you don't know somebody doesn't mean everybody else does it.
Yeah.
You're the populace.
You are the one who recognises her, and you can't even tell us who she is.
I can't remember everybody's name now.
But that's the point. It's like
I've had a fucking few beers. I can't remember everybody's name now.
Anyway, best cameo. Is it you starting, Chris? I think it is. Is it Andy?
Is that?
I think it might be Andy, actually. Andy, you go first. We'll leave Chris at the end.
I'm going to go for Wanda Sykes sneaks into bronze.
Hmm?
I'm going to put Sean William Scott in Old School. But Dan Aykroyd in Evolution.
Okay. Fair.
Old.
Okay. Yes. I'm definitely missing out Tim Blake Nelson. I wanted him included, but it's not a cameo. And then Rob Zombie, you don't see him either. So I'll go Sean William Scott because it is my favourite scene in that film. So he gets my bronze. It's tough from there. Right. Correction. Double Old School. Todd Phillips is my bronze. Sean William Scott's my silver. Wanda Sykes is my gold. End of story.
What do you mean, you people?
Taking it back.
Right, so my bronze is Wanda Sykes. My silver, I'm going to go for Dan Aykroyd, but my gold is Sean William Scott.
Oh, let's see. So there's that. That's that. I think that wins it for Sean William Scott. Yeah, Sean William Scott. He snuck in. He was going to be the one that missed out through the double nomination thing. But I thought I have to include him, and he goes and wins. Underdog story. Sean William Scott. I think he also went back-to-back episodes at that point. I think he went Evolution.
Oh, he was there for like 3 or 4 episodes or something. Loads of times.
So Sean William Scott, winner of best cameo, and that counts because he's only one scene and he was bigger than the role he was in. So there we go. That's cameo of the year. Now, while the hating on Chris is going on, I've got a very.
That's actually a better way to describe it for him, Bruce. Bigger than the role he's in.
There you are. Okay.
That's a cameo.
I like that.
That might help Chris a bit. Still some piece of shit.
So
fucking hell, one film.
The next award we're going on to tonight. So Andy maxed out. He won the last time. Like he had the winning vote. Most pornographic scene is next. Now, the elephants from Grimsby, but Andy is forever ingrained in time Muron's moon-kissed titty as the winner of the pornographic scene from the last awards. So I have opted Andy out because every nominee in most pornographic scene here was nominated by Chris. So just like Andy went through his product placements earlier, Chris should go through his nominees and see if you can pick out what his most pornographic thing that happened in our season was. So, things Chris said were pornographic. The bathroom scene in room 237.
That's a danger wank and a half.
He means the woman.
Before.
I was going to say.
It was on the turn. I made a point of saying that.
Yes.
You have got to get your timing right on that bad boy.
Not the scabby old woman, but the younger woman. Callahan's wet t-shirt in Police Academy 4. The cheeky wee nip slip in the bath in Slither.
That even sounds like me.
That's what you said. That's what the eyegasm of the first view of the Hallelujah Mountains in Avatar was pornographic. Jay's Buffalo Bill impression, basically in Clerks 2.
Fucking hell.
Naomi the Angry Beaver in Waiting. And then Ridley's entrance again has come up in Beautiful Creatures, rounding out our nominees. So, Chris, what was? You can do a 3-2-1 if you want, or you can just pick out what was most pornographic.
I'll do that quickly. My bronze one, Callahan's Bit T-shirt because it's memorable from years ago. Silver, I'm going to say the Cheeky Nip Slip. And my gold, I'm going to say Jay's Buffalo Bill because it came out of nowhere.
Good old Jay, yes. Near enough nude, I would say, on screen. And yes, hilarious. Oh boy. Well, so there you go. Jason Mewes, the winner of most pornographic scene of the season. Was his Buffalo.
It's just like once he just started dancing away and out of nowhere, he's naked like that.
The coat open, yeah. Okay, on to our top awards of the evening. We're getting towards the end run. These are the big time awards here on the podcast. Best line of the season has made a bit of a return. Sometimes it's a bit underperforming, but because Chris picked 5 comedies this year, basically it's come back. Previous hilarious lines. I will unheal the shit out of you. Something you fucking nipplehead in Blade 2. You cock juggling thunder cunt, I believe, was also in a Blade movie. That was Ryan Reynolds, Hall of Famer. It's a mail plane. Didn't you see his little balls from the Three Amigos? And then let's get pished in Solitaire and Axe Murderer in celebration of the wedding. This season, best lines. The cow's name is Norman. You were pulling on his dick from Six Flickers 2. Darling, light of my life from The Shining, as Jack is finally losing his mind. Clerks 2, at the end of Randall's rant. Even the trees walked in those movies. As he's talking about The Lord of the Rings. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Made a comeback in Prey. Knock knock. Who's there? Go fuck yourself. Tom Hanks in Catch Me If You Can. Maybe she was abused as a child. God, I fucking hope so. In Waiting. From Police Academy 4, I throw you over to Chris. Chris, how does the line from Police Academy 4 go?
Mickey! He's dead. We killed him.
Bobcat Goldthwait's forever, I don't know, permanent mainstay line in Chris's life from that film.
Yep.
From Evolution, there's always time for lubricant, which is one of the morals of the story earlier on. And Slither, Nathan Fillion says, well, that is some fucked up shit, he says at one point. Best line of the season there, lads. Some funny ones.
There's some bells.
Some good ones. Is it me to go first? I feel like it might be.
I know.
I think it might be. No,
Lost all control.
Lost all knowledge of where we are in time. So, City Slickers gets my bronze. It was just the delivery from Billy Crystal was really good on that one. Second, for my silver medal, I think it's Randall. Narrowly gets my silver. That it's amazing. That it's a funny monologue, but that him pointing that out just seals it. But Tom Hanks slayed me with his knock knock joke in Catch Me If You Can, so he gets my gold. Chris.
Okay, my bronze. I'm gonna go for There's Always Time for Lubricant. Oh no, shit. No, I'm not. If it bleeds, we can kill it from Prey.
Bleeds, we can kill it.
My silver. Trey controversy. I'm gonna go for Mickey. He's dead.
Okay.
We killed him. But I agree with Bruce. My gold is the knock knock joke because it came out of fucking nowhere.
It did. It really did. Yeah. Andy, what are your votes for the best line of the season?
I'm going for bronze Slither. Well, that's some fucked up shit.
Mm-hmm.
Silver, I'm going for Mickey. He's dead because it just reminds me of Chris.
Because of Chris, yeah.
And then I'm going for gold. Even the trees walk in that movie. Clerks 2.
Very good. A solid second place for Clerks, but it is Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks. It's not a joke that is the winner there. I think a first win for Catch Me If You Can tonight. But yeah, it's a not joke I will try and remember for all my days. Another top award here on the podcast. Best inanimate object.
First word of the top awards popped up there.
So best inanimate object. Previous winners. A dildo, I think from me, myself, and Irene.
Yep.
A tumbleweed, which I think Andy pointed out came up in about 3 different films.
Yeah.
The tooth cart with the wobbly tooth on a spring from Django. Terry Crews' big gun from The Expendables, and then lightsabers just generally because they are the best thing that ever existed. Nominees this season: The Batmobile from Batman Begins, the first sighting of the Tumbler, of course, that special Batmobile. The bread maker that they pass around in old school get together one after another. The dog van from Dumb and Dumber, their car that they drive around in. The elaborate bottle opener in Shenanigans and Waiting.
The Goldberg machine.
That's it, Rube Goldberg, yeah. The hairbrush in Slither, that pretty much was the kind of the weapon when it came to the end of the day. Head and Shoulders, again, in Evolution, best product placement. The Six Stick from Minority Report. The Snowcat in The Shining. The Snowmen in Krampus. And then Tomahawk on a String in Bray, the weapon that Naru used the whole time on her string. Well, that's another thing. Chris kept nominating best weapons throughout the season, but I chucked them all best inanimate object. So,
I'm sure that was an award in one season.
Probably was at one point, yeah.
Confused.
So I think it's Chris to go first, I think, unless I just...
shit.
I don't know. I think it is.
Okay, I'm going off the cuff here. My bronze is the Batmobile, because I love the Tumbler. It's probably the best Batmobile ever. My silver, I'm going to go for the... it's not off the cuff now, is it? Tomahawk and the String from Prey.
Tomahawk.
And my gold... Oh, shit, I have fucked it. I will. Too late now. My gold is the Six Stick from Minority Report.
Six Stick is gold. Andy, how about you?
I'm going for bronze, the Six Stick from Minority Report, because it's pretty fun. And then I'm going for silver. I'm going for the dog van in Dumb and Dumber. But the ultimate inanimate object, the Batmobile. It's gold. Because I broke it in real life.
You did break it, yes, exactly. I've kind of convinced myself along the same lines. I'm going to, in order of increased technology. So Tomahawk on a String is the bronze. The Sick Stick is the silver, but the Batmobile is incredible. So it's the best Batmobile, I think. I like the one, the new one, but I think I'm on an island with the new Batmobile.
The new one sounded better. Like it sounded, but it looked at when you heard it, it's like orgasm. When you seen it, it's like people back
it's
on the
a
head.
car with a couple of fins.
yeah. But yeah, the Batmobile from Batman Begins is the winner of the best inanimate object. In some ways, it might have a life of its own. That's the only thing. It might be least.
I wonder where that one is. That broke.
Get fixed somewhere. One of our favourite awards of the evening is up next. The Michael Pena Award. I don't know if I still need to explain this, but it is the best.
I feel like Michael Pena needs to come into the thing because he's only been in it once, hasn't he?
That's it. We've not had him very often, have we, Michael Pena? Previous winners: Amy Dunn's How to Get Away with Murder. Chuck. What's Chuck? I don't know what Chuck is. Is it Chunk? Maybe it's meant to be Chunk. I just copied.
Oh yes, it's Chunk when he explains why he's always a bad person.
All his misdemeanors. They give him Chunk from goodies.
Aye.
Quint's legendary story about the USS Intrepid, the dog soldier's tattoo story one last time, which I could absolutely not tell you how it goes, but I remember it being a good story. So the nominees this time, the beaver tail in Prey. We nominated it. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it was one of these. Let me tell you a tale about a beaver.
She's not talking about her beaver, is she?
No, it was an actual beaver. Ethan telling his life story to Macon in Beautiful Creatures. He pretty much hypnotizes him and who are you? Come and tell me who you are. And he speaks his whole life to him. Mr. Ullman explaining what happened to the previous caretaker of the Overlook Hotel at The Shining. The murder of Anne Lively in Minority Reports when we finally see the pieces put together on the screen. Omi, that's the old lady, her tale of the Krampus in Krampus. Randall and his Lord of the Rings trilogy in Clerks 2. Splinter tells his life story in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where he explains how he was the pet of this ninja master and he had a rival and all that sort of stuff. And then why Kate, that's Phoebe Cates, why she hates Christmas in Gremlins. I think it's now Andy to go first.
I don't remember half of these.
Struggling
so
as well.
I'm only going to go for the ones I actually remember.
It's a good sign of a story, though, if you can remember it. So
I am going for Splinter tells a story in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then I'm going for silver. I'm going for the Krampus story because it has a little cartoon in it. But Randall, explaining Lord of the Rings, gets a gold.
It does. In any other category, I would give Randall 5 points, I think, or whatever you call it, a gold medal.
But there's a Shining award in there. So.
It's not. I'm not going. I am not going that way, actually, because it's getting a bronze because I love that scene.
Still in there.
Randall gets the silver. Because I don't think we could ever top Quint in Jaws, but we finally learn why Phoebe Cates in Gremlins hates Christmas. and the appalling, horrifying tale of what her father goes through.
That's what happens, yeah.
Gets stuck up the chimney and then you don't know he's there and all this. It doesn't fit in the film, but it's an unbelievable tale. So she gets my gold medal as Kate.
Forgot that happened.
Gremlins, yeah. Chris.
My bronze is the murder of Anne Lively. I like it when a film comes full circle, explains what happens. My silver is Omi's Tale of Krampus because I like the little cartoon that was going. But my gold is why Kate hates Christmas because you didn't know whether to laugh or cry at it. It was freaking brutal.
It's like funny but horrifying and awful at the same time. It's deserved win, I think, for Phoebe Cates and Gremlins there. But it's kind of the worst thing to happen, but also the best bit of the film.
And sucks the joy at the film.
Yeah.
For a little while, and then like the Gremlins bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. But incredible telling of a story she does there. Unlucky for Randall. I think he got a bad draw there. He'd have won any other time because I do love him lampooning Lord of the Rings. Okay, getting very near the end now. One of the...
I still got beers to drink.
Well, there's still some more. Plenty of time for 2 or 3 beers. Best villain, very hotly contested this year. Every film had a big villain. Previous winners, Betty. That was Kung Pao. Mayor Vaughn, the bastard from Jaws, and then John Doe in Seven, of course. Very good villain. This season's villains. Captain Harris, Police Academy 4. Dean Pritchard in Old School. The Predator in Prey. Jack Torrance in The Shining. Max von Sydow as Lamar Burgess in Minority Report. The Mayor from Slither. Quaritch in Avatar. Ridley, she's back in Beautiful Creatures. The Scarecrow in Batman Begins.
That film. He nominated everything in that film, Beautiful Creatures, anyway.
Yeah.
And do something for it.
Stripe from Gremlins, the bad guy, boss, Gremlin dude. And it is now my turn to go first. There's a wide range of villains here. They do range from kind of comedic to downright sadistic to downright killers. So you really have to work out what do you put more villainy in favor of here. So I think I'm going to give a bronze to one of the comedy ones. Who's a better villain out of Captain Harris and Dean Pritchard? Let's say Dean Pritchard, because Captain Harris won earlier on. So Jeremy Piven gets my bronze.
Fucked.
Which way to go? Let's go Quaritch with a silver, but I'm giving the Predator my gold because I argued strongly that he was the villain in that film, and he is out just to murder our hero.
French
Well, I'm voted. No take backsies. The Predator.
Fucking French.
Chris, how are you voting?
Got my gold. It's my silver and bronze I'm struggling with.
I'll tell you what, after this, I'm going to go and play some Warzone and kill some French.
Okay, my bronze, I'm going to go for the Mayor from Slither. He was a bit of a dig.
I quite enjoyed him. I thought he was quite funny.
I think that's what we said at the time, weren't we? He was like...
Yeah. He was quite enjoyable. Max von Sydow from Minority Report, because he tried to pin a lot of murders on other people.
Yeah.
Or one murder, at least. And my gold is Jack Torrance from Shining. He's an iconic villain. I mean, you can't go and try to kill your family and not be classed as a villain.
I suppose, yeah. That's tough because I feel like he is kind of brainwashed in it. But yeah, Andy, we've got some ties to break because me and Chris have not crossed over at all here. So let's see.
I wasn't actually paying attention, so
good.
Best villain. Right, I'm going for bronze.
Go back to third break here because I've broken the seal.
I'm going. No, you're not going to third break. Bronze. I'm going to go for Dean Pritchard because he just ruined people's fun.
He did. All he wanted to do was to ruin everyone's fun. Yeah.
Silver. I'm going for Stripe because he's an iconic villain.
He was my honorable mention, Stripe.
But ultimate villain, Quidditch from Avatar.
Quidditch.
Right.
Good old Quidditch.
Let's see him.
That wins it for him, Chris, so don't feel too sad. He did, in fact, win Quaritch.
Quidditch.
Stephen Lang, best villain.
Stephen Lang.
and he was the best thing about it. So I think it's fair that he wins best villain.
Go for a piss, Chris. Quick run.
No, sorry.
Okay,
I'll hold
so
it.
I did the opposite.
You can.
I did the opposite with the acting awards here because we had a lot of debates on what was a bell end and what was a villain. So I've tried to show quite clearly here the difference between a bell end and a villain. So we've just had villains. Biggest bell end, one previous winner, John Hammond, and the way he treated everybody, including his grandchildren at Jurassic Park. So these are our nominees this season for biggest bell end. The bitchy customer in Waiting, who kept sending her food back, and well, she got a bad serving in the end. Craig Schwartz in Being John Malkovich. That was John Cusack's character, just the way he acts in that. Dante in Clerks 2. Many discussions and debates. I'm still with it, having seen Clerks 3. I know your guys' opinion might have changed. Mine hasn't. Glenn in City Slickers 2. That was John Lovitz. He basically just moved into Billy Crystal's house and was just one of them annoying house guests. Yep. Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber, because you guys got more than I did, and you saw this horrible backstory to the way Lloyd acts around Harry.
Yep.
Mark in Old School, he was like the dickhead boyfriend of Ellen Pompeo in that one. He got killed at the end. And then Mrs. Deagle in Gremlins, the horrible person who pushes it in the front of queues in the bank and is just horrible to people and doesn't like dogs and is going to get them put down and all that. So they are the nominees for biggest bell end of the season. I don't know who's going first. It might be Chris, but I'm not wrong. I'm not sure.
Right, I'll go for it. My bronze is I'll go for Mrs. Deagle from Gremlins because she was a knob. My silver, I can't remember him. I'll go for Dante because in that film and the previous film he was a dick. But my gold, being in the line of work that I've worked in, it's the bitchy customer from Waiting.
He was a bell end. Andy, what's your votes?
I'm going for Mrs. Deagle bronze, Silver Lloyd Christmas, and bitchy customer.
Bitchy customer. Well, she pretty much wins it. I can't affect her at all. I don't think I would change much about who you voted for, to be honest. I might go Dante as bronze because I've not seen Clerks 3, which I think might change my opinion. But
fucking all you need to watch Clerks 3. Jesus hell.
Right. So he gets my bronze. I'm going Mrs. Deagle as my silver, but I think the bitchy customer is just a horrible person, and I'm glad she got what was coming to her. So she is definitely our winner. So Waiting does win an award. I don't know if Waiting has won anything yet, but there we go. Waiting wins the biggest bell end award. So our final award of the night that we're going to vote on is the Worst Plan Award, and we do like pointing out other people coming.
I feel like this one the Oscars should be able to take from us.
Yeah,
they should be able to do this and get us in as special guest hosts. We'll come to the Oscars and we'll host it.
We will.
20 years in.
Stuff. Fucking hell.
Worst plan. Previous worst plans. Just poisoning Chef Chelios rather than just killing him would have been a bit better. The Mortal Kombat tournament, I think mainly the rules itself are the organisers. The Mummy's curse, with it being so easily breakable and just bringing the guy back. Basically going to the planet and aliens in the first place. Yeah. And then the premise and plot of Face Off is the last bad idea. So this year, I keep saying year, this season, nominees. Batman, Batman escapes through a prison cell by blowing a hole in the wall and then just leaves it open so that the prisoners can also escape from the prison cell. From waiting, going for dinner 2 minutes before a restaurant closes. That set all of us off.
That's a fucking dick move there. He should be the biggest bell end.
Have you done it since, Andy? Because on that podcast you were saying you would try that as a plan and then see if they wouldn't serve you so you could complain online and get a free dinner.
I get too hungry. Like, who the fuck's going for food at like 10 o'clock at night?
Exactly, yeah.
like I'm more than bell end that's the first one in line when the restaurant's open at 5 o'clock or whatever.
Rattle on the door, crack them in.
Yeah, I'm fucking starving. I ain't got time to wait 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. So, not done it yet, but we'll see. The FBI gave Harry a gun in Dumb and Dumber. Just a civilian who is also a confirmed idiot. They gave him a gun. In Evolution, let's ignore the scientists and just use napalm on the aliens. Like, what could possibly go wrong? I don't care what the scientists say, but we'll bomb them. But it's got to be 4. I think it was Tackleberry. He just jumps out of a plane without a parachute.
I don't want my life anymore. Right.
Yeah, exactly. In Krampus, Chris has already complained about it. Letting your daughter go alone into a blizzard around Christmas was a terrible idea. Mitch sees what he thinks is the horse from his dreams and it just takes off on his horse after it. No idea what he's going to do. He's not a cowboy. No idea what he's doing out in the middle of the wild, but I'm going to chase this horse down. The authorities not revoking John Anderton's security clearance, so he can just walk back in to the Precog Temple in Minority Report. Suitor, our villain in Suburban Commando, toying with Shep Ramsey, as these villains tend to do, instead of just killing him. Like, he had him at his mercy, but he just messes around with him and kind of toys with him. And Avatar, the Na'vi. Let's teach our ways to this warrior from this invading alien species. He's the first warrior I've ever met. Let's tell him about how we live our life and how we get everything from the planet. Terrible plan. And then Beautiful Creatures, a character in this film, you've seen the film, but let me remind you, a character uses a forbidden spell to resurrect their love, only for this spell to corrupt them, and then they kill the person they just resurrected right immediately after bringing them back. That is the last nominee plan in Beautiful Creatures. I have no idea who's going first.
I guess me.
Right.
Right. I'm going to go for bronze. Going for dinner 2 minutes before a restaurant closes, because that is the worst planning. Like, if you're planning that, it's just stupid. Then I'm going to go for jumping out of a plane without a parachute.
Usually there's only one way that ends.
That's just seems...
Yeah,
but gold, Batman blowing a hole in a prison and letting all the prisoners escape kind of seems counterproductive unless he's looking for more work.
Maybe he wants more work, yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going with 3 different ones.
The best.
I have no idea what Andy said there because he very much broke up for me, and Chris looks like he's.
You broke up for me as well.
Right. Okay. Are we back now then? Can we hear each other?
I don't know. Chris is frozen. He looks like static.
No, I haven't moved for a while.
So Chris is fine. So throughout, Chris has been okay. Right.
I've been looking and contemplating what I'm picking.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Right. We're back on the call. I'm going to 3 different ones. They are in order: bronze, not revoking Anderton's security clearance. Silver, I really have a problem with Avatar, with the Na'vi doing that. It's not a good idea, and it probably caused them a lot more bother. But that Beautiful Creature thing, I remember it being a problem with the film, and really having an issue with it way back when, and that stuck with me. That was I don't know why that happened in the film. So the resurrection only to then kill the person they resurrected is my worst plan. Chris,
this is fucking difficult. There's a lot of honorable mentions here.
Yeah,
there's a lot of reading as well.
I don't. I'm gonna go for bronze as Batman. Just giving himself more work. My silver. Because
basically Batman wants to clean up the streets of Gotham, and he's actually being counterproductive doing that. So yeah,
unless he's getting paid by the bad guys. PD.
But he's not. He's doing it. Is he not doing like kind of pro rata?
We don't know what his tax records are. We don't know what Alfred's filming.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh fucking hell! This is tough. My silver, not revoking Anderson's security clearance in the Minority Report, and the gold. I'm going for Tackleberry just jumping out of a plane with no parachute. That's just pure insanity.
I think that wins it for Tackleberry.
There's a lot. It could be anything. I mean, like
I feel like the Academy Awards could be the outlier here. It's winning so many awards tonight.
It has taken home some awards, yeah. So yeah, the winner was Academy 4 again. Tackleberry. Not only has he got the trifecta, he's got the worst plan of the season.
I'll be disappointed if you don't change it to the Tackleberry trifecta now.
Right. Batman was the runner-up there. So yeah, because we had Tom Cruise, but he didn't do it himself. So right. That's the last vote, basically, of the evening. Because we're on to the big one. What the best film of the season was. And as a season, it's the weakest we've had for a while. I think you have to go back to season 3 to have films that we rated as lowest as this. So we have only 5 films that cracked a 7 or better, which basically to me is above average. If you get a 6, you're like, eh, but 7 and 8, only 5 films. So the 5th best for best film, selected by Andy, was Prey, was the 5th best film of the year.
The newest film we've ever done.
Andy only gave it a 5, but me and Chris both gave it an 8, which was Chris's joint highest rating of the season. So it got a 7 in total. The 4th best was The Wheel and Batman Begins. I don't know who picked that. I don't know who put that one on The Wheel.
Oh, yeah, I picked that.
Was that not Sean's wheel?
Sean.
I don't think it was yet. No, I think it was the last one before Sean.
Was it? All right.
Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah. Maybe he put it on The Wheel beforehand. 2 8s and a 6 from Andy for that one. So 1 point better.
You blame me for all the low scoring here.
I'm just saying that. I'm just telling you. I'm not giving information. 3rd best film of the year is actually the joint 2nd best film of the year because you cannot break on scoring at all my selection of Avatar and Chris's selection of Clerks 2. You cannot break They all got 7s from everybody. So it's a 7 for both. But both films, everybody gave a 7. So joint 2nd is Avatar and Clerks 2, or Clerks 2, Avatar and Clerks 2. They are the 2nd best film of the season. But number 1 film of the season, only film to get 8 out of 10, selected by The Wheel, was The Shining.
Fucking Shining.
Which I gave a 10, obviously. Chris gave it an 8, and Andy gave it a 6. So on Andy's voting, I think Clerks 2 and Avatar both got 7s. They were his film of the year. Mine was The Shining, and Chris did the Shining, Batman, and Prey were all 8s for you, Chris. So I think you also gave something lower down than 8. I don't know if it was Dumb and Dumber, maybe something like that. But maybe something I can't remember. I've got the whole table here. But yeah, The Shining, by just a point. Like it's only an 8, and all the rest were 7s. Is the film of the year, but it would not have been in the top 4, I think, last season. I think The Shining, because we had a mad.
It's a poor season.
Yeah, so The Shining, best film of the season in a bad year, was Clerks 2 and Avatar behind it. But we've got one more thing to decide. Well, 2 more things actually. So first, before that, my Hall of Fame wall here. There's a couple of spaces.
Hall of Fame, teasing us.
Where we could pop people in. These are our previous nominees: Wesley Snipes, Peter Dinklage. Notice he's quite low down. Ryan Reynolds, Grandel Bush up here with his famous 4 in a row, whatever he has in season 4, and then Carrie Fisher for the last season that we did in the Hall of Fame. So I've picked out 5 nominees. They all relate to season 6 in some fashion or another. I tried my best to not nominate anyone who's already been nominated, but someone had to fit in. There was one guy I had to include who had already been nominated. But going forward, if they've been nominated, for example, in season 6, they probably won't be eligible for season 7. But then they could possibly become eligible again, just so we're not the same
like a
ones.
challenge.
Yeah. So I've not narrowed
just
down.
fallen asleep.
It looked like it. 5 nominees. First nominee. he gets in because he was in City Slickers 2, and he'd previously been in City Slickers and When Harry Met Sally. Billy Crystal is our first nominee for the 10 Point Podcast Hall of Fame. He's been the lead actor and basically main creator of all of those films. Second nominee. I've only got 4 words to describe this man, and they are Bob, Cat, Gold, and Thwaite. He was a Police Academy 4. He defined Chris's season. And I feel like he needs to be in with a shout for the Hall of Fame.
He's not going to get it, but
it might be his only
It's
chance.
the most random fucking season pick I've ever heard in my life.
But he is one of our nominees.
Nobody was getting that. Shut up.
Nobody was getting it. This one, a sleeper hit here. He gets in because he was in 2 films this season. In Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and in Gremlins. Previously in 2 other films, The Burbs and The Goonies. Corey Feldman is a sneaky 10 Point Podcast favourite.
Oh, so was if you're going to remember that, Brian Toshi was in 2 episodes as well.
He was, but I mean, there's being at the forefront and being discussed and all this sort of stuff.
Right, okay.
But Corey Feldman, he'd voiced a turtle basically, as your man did. So he's a nominee, Corey Feldman. It's been a long time coming. He gets in because he was in Clerks 2. He was in the previous season because he was briefly in Dogma, and he was also in Clerks 1. Jeff Anderson We always talk about how good he is every time he's in a film. So Jeff Anderson gets mentioned. And our only
wait till you watch that, Steve Bruce.
I do, yeah. And then our only returning nominee, because I feel like we need to get him included. He was in Dumb and Dumber. He was in The Cable Guy. He's in Me, Myself, and Irene. Jim Carrey is our final nominee.
So this between two for me.
We don't vote. We just discuss and we hash out who means most to the podcast out of these five.
Jeff Anderson.
Jeff Anderson was the leader for me. I think Corey Feldman needed to be mentioned.
Jeff Anderson.
But I don't
he was the honorable mention. Corey Feldman. I would say Jeff Anderson. It was Jeff Anderson all the way.
So it's
Jeff Anderson.
So we're knocking back Carey for Jeff Anderson, are we?
I would say so.
Because
he deserves it.
With the Carey argument, of course, is we probably still haven't done maybe 4 of Jim Carrey's best films. Whereas Jeff Anderson...
We've still got Clerks 3. We've still got Mallrats. We've still got Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. There's loads of Jeff Anderson films out there.
Right. Nothing to be said for Billy Crystal?
Nah.
No, Billy Crystal.
He's old.
Unless we do Monsters Inc., he's never coming up again.
Yeah, but he might do. And then when he does Monsters Inc., that might get him in. We'll have to see. So I think Crystal's out. I think Bobcat Goldthwait's happy to be mentioned in the same breath as the others, I think. But I mean, when I think of season 6, I might think of Bobcat Goldthwait. That's the only thing I would say.
Definitely. He's always going to be,
Yeah, it's always going to be that season of the podcast.
He's in the same limelight as Ryan Reynolds as picks.
That's the thing. Like, Dinklage is in one film.
But he's spawned a quiz.
Yeah, the quiz got him in. Whereas Bobcat Goldthwait had a theme. So it's like, I don't know.
But... I would 100% Bobcat would be up there if we'd got it, like, and I'd worked out that that's what he was trying to spell. 100%.
Maybe, yeah. If we'd guessed it, if we'd been in forefront of our minds, maybe.
The fact is, it had to be slowly spelled out to us, and then City Slickers had richly fucked them.
And he could have done better as well. He could have had.
Oh no, Clutch fucked them.
Yeah. If he'd done Jane Silent Bob, it would have worked better. So okay, Bobcat's out, Billy Crystal's out, I think Corey Feldman's out. So are we taking Jeff Anderson ahead of Jim Carrey? Are we?
I would say so.
I think so. I think it's fair. So there we go. I think that's fair. So on the wall behind me,
that wall behind you.
Yeah.
Jeff Anderson's going up.
Jeff Anderson's going up, joining these icons of cinema.
I was waiting for like Bruce to zoom in and it says actual walls. This is going to get covered in pictures of people.
If I had planned ahead, I would have got all 5 of them and popped them up. But I don't have him. He wasn't in the Hall of Fame yet. I didn't want to get ahead of myself. So yeah. So Jeff Anderson, welcome to the 10 Point Podcast Hall of Fame for your roles in The Clerks 1 and 2 and Dogma. But mainly 1 and 2 being the
Clerks
best thing.
3 is...
Right. Okay.
I will have to watch it.
Well, I might pick it next season. I might be too soon for you guys.
Or Chris might pick it. Chris might have unfinished business.
I can't go through it again.
Right. Okay. It's a tough watch, is it? Right. That's us wrapped up the pointies. I will find out before the time of the next podcast probably who did the best. I don't think it was necessarily The Shining, but I think it's in with a shout, to be honest. But yeah.
Police Academy.
Maybe Police Academy. Shining, best film. Beautiful Creatures, worst film. I think we probably could have thought about it and saw that coming. Next season 7 is just around the corner. Not too far away. It will come onto all your podcast and video feeds soon with the first episode. Now, the first episode, because we've still got things to discuss between the 3 of us, the random wheel is going to randomly select what our first film is.
Well, that's where I've decided that it's not. I'm picking the first film.
All right, okay. Andy's executive decision. Andy's just going to rock up, take first pick. Fair enough. And we'll wait for the wheel for another time. So, Andy, why don't you tell us what our first film of season 7 is going to be then?
He's not going to tell us. He's going to wait.
He's going to make us wait.
I've decided I'm right. Well, so I've decided to start off this season the way I'm going to go. Okay. So this film is from 2012, maybe 2013, depending on what your sources are.
Right. Okay.
It's a film starring literally nobody we've ever done before.
Okay.
Nobody you'll know.
Oh no.
There's nobody famous in this film.
Oh no.
It's a film called Race.
I missed everything you said after no one famous in this film, Andy. So can you give it again?
Right. This is a film called The Human Race.
The Human Race. Okay.
It's a group of 80 people get ripped out of their normal day lives and have to race.
Okay. And it's not a documentary, is it?
It's not a documentary.
Right.
There's nobody famous in it. It's just a fucked up film that I remember watching and really liking.
Right, okay. The Human Race, you say.
Ah!
Yes.
No, wait. Is that got the guy from Stranger Things in it?
Nobody famous is in it.
Okay. I thought I had
a fun fact about it is the director is in the film. It took him 5 years to make this film because he just got his friends and family to make it.
Right. Okay.
That's the tone of this season.
There you go. Is it readily available for the general public to
Nope.
watch? Right, okay. So good
It's a
luck.
fuck.
Good luck to everybody. That's what we'll be doing next time on the 10 Point Podcast. So you have until our next podcast appears on all of your feeds to find The Human Race. Give it a watch, and we'll see you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.